This is Beyond the Door, exploring the light of Freemasonry. Hello and welcome again to Beyond the Door, exploring the light of Freemasonry. I am Chris Crume and once again joined by my co-host, Matt Salyer.
America 250.
Yes, since we will be dropping this episode right before the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everyone and America's 250th.
It's wild, isn't it?
It's wild to think about that, but then also when you think about, just the history of humanity, how small that really is.
It's a great experiment.
It is a great experiment. Let's hope it continues.
Yeah, there is that.
And I think what's really cool too is kind of tying, forefathers into everything that we've got in store for this episode. This is also the episode that drops in June, so we celebrated Father's Day. And we are bringing you a very special Father's Day episode this month where the interview, I think everybody's going to really like this. We brought our dads in the studio and nothing was really off the table on that, I don't think.
No, I didn't know exactly where it was going to go when we started. There's obviously some things that you kind of plan to ask, right? Especially since we're kind of a niche topic here in Masonry. But nevertheless, it took a little bit of a meandering way, but it was a fun journey.
Yeah, I think the journey was really great. We, like you said, we knew some of the stories, we knew where some of it was going, but it also took a few unexpected turns and twists, and there might be an embarrassing story or two in there.
And I learned a little bit about my dad that I would have lost a considerable sum of money on if I had been betting on some of those questions.
Oh, well, we'll have to talk about that one later because maybe I'll put some money down on that.
Well, I know it now. I don't think that's a fair bet.
That's true.
Well, as if summers weren't already busy enough, there's always a job to do in Masonry. So once again, bringing you the calendar. Tuesday, July 6th, 2026 at 7:30 p.m., Newark number 97 will have their stated meeting. Saturday, July 18th at sunrise, New Home number 338 will have their annual Outdoor Master Mason degree.
And that's a really cool degree to go see outside if you've never done that.
Yeah, I need to get over there.
Well,
I've not.
Saturday, July 18th is coming up very quickly. You could always ride with me.
It's the sunrise portion on a Saturday that has turned me off in the past, in addition to some other duty, like things that I have to do.
True, and it's usually a little warm out there too, but there's nothing like it to see that degree.
Yeah, that's got to be done. So we'll talk about that because I want to make that happen. The following day, Sunday, July 19th at 1 p.m., the 19th District Picnic will take place at the Muskingum Valley Scout Reservation in Coshocton County. And then finally, Saturday, July 25th at 9 a.m., the 19th District Leadership Phase Number 3 will be hosted here at the Newark Temple.
And that's always a good time, too. If you've gone through the first two phases, this phase is super important on that journey through that leadership program. I thoroughly enjoyed the first two phases. When I got to phase 3, I didn't even know what to expect, and it was everything that I had hoped for.
Correct me where wrong. My understanding is that they can be done independently, though.
Yes, they can be done independently. Doing them in order will definitely help you if you go all the way through.
But if somebody missed the first one or missed the second one and they're jumping back in, no harm, no foul.
Correct. You don't have to go to the first phase or the second phase to go to phase 3. But you get there and you're going to be like, what the hell's going on?
Even if you've attended one?
If you've attended one, you're maybe going to have a good clue. But, just depends.
Okay.
Just depends. But again, I think that what's important is that it's getting out there and getting that education, right? I think getting your Masonic education.
Digging deep into the code.
Dig into the code, dig into the officer's manual, dig into Grandview, learn some things that you didn't know. I mean, I think back, a couple episodes ago when we were talking with Worshipful brother Chris Weber, and just how much everything that we do is education and how much everything we do is really preparing folks for these leadership roles.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that. You lost me at Grandview, though.
There's a lot of great stuff on Grandview. You've just got to be able to know how to dig into it and really where to find things on
Yeah, it's
Grandview.
the cataloging that always gets me.
It is. And there's a lot. That's the problem. There's a lot out there. If you don't know exactly where what you're looking for is, it can make it a little bit daunting.
That's it. I mean, I've always been able to find it eventually, but it's always been more difficult than it should have been.
Yeah. I guess it's time to kick it on over to that interview. You know, we talked about education, and boy, what an education we got. And yeah, I'm excited for folks to hear this.
This was a good one. I mean, it's certainly highly personal for the two of us in a lot of ways because it was our fathers. But nevertheless, there's kind of a little bit of a symbolic torch passing and journey included herein, I think.
Yeah, so sit back and enjoy this. I really think everybody's going to have some fun with this one. All right. Well, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome into the Newark 97 podcast studio two, I think, very important Masons in our lives.
Outstanding Masons overall.
Outstanding Masons overall, but I think more importantly, outstanding people, because this is our Father's Day episode, and our interview today is with our dads. So with that, I'll introduce my dad first if you want to introduce your dad. My dad is Jim Crume, and he is currently the junior warden at Mount Moriah number 79.
77.
Close enough. Is it
Anderson, Indiana.
Is it Anderson or is it Edgewood?
Anderson, Indiana.
In Anderson, Indiana. Okay. They're towns kind of like Newark, Heath, Granville that are all like really super close together. So, yeah. So welcome.
And welcome Steve Salyer here into the studio as well. Dad's a 17-year Mason here at Newark number 97. I think you've sat in every single chair. I know you've got your hat trick in the East as well, currently serving as our chaplain. And he's a past president of the 19th Masonic District Association. So welcome.
Thank you.
Boy, a lot of great service between these two. Hopefully someday we can compare.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to just jump right in. I think that's the appropriate place to start. So I'm going to ask both of you, tell us a little bit about yourselves, who you are, how long you've been a Mason, what do you do for your normal career, or what did you used to do? Things like that. Tell us about yourselves a little bit.
Well, 17-year Mason, like Pat said. I've been an electrician for almost 50 years. Self-employed for over 35. Raised 3 children of my own, a stepdaughter, and I've got 5 wonderful grandsons.
Yeah, and I'm 69 now. Been retired for 4 years. I highly recommend it. I like to say I was a paid nerd. For about 43 years, I was in the IT industry. So yeah, I like to say I'm a paid nerd. So it paid the bills, and it was a good job at the time. And I've been a Mason for a little over 2 years now. And so I'm kind of a young'un as a lot of people my age go, but loving it and wish I'd done it sooner.
All right. So either or both of you, feel free to take turns. Any current hobbies or passion projects kind of keep you moving?
The only thing I do is work and keep the place up. That's about it. And work down here.
I was going to say, there's plenty to do here at the building.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Chris talked me into picking up a bicycle, about 8-9 years ago, 10 years?
About 9.
I think you're supposed to pedal those, not carry them.
Well, they go faster that way.
Only when you wreck them, you carry them.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that. But no, I picked a bicycle up, and I've been riding now for about 9 years. And since I've retired, I've started playing pickleball. And other than that, I am involved in disaster relief at my church. So
yeah, you've been doing that for about what, 3-4 years now?
3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I ended up in Georgia a couple of years ago and North Carolina.
That's a good cause.
That hurricane relief.
Yeah. Yeah, it was completely different. One was all wind and the other was all flood-related damage. So,
Ugh. Makes me glad to be in the Midwest sometimes.
yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. But, sometimes you get windstorms that tear the roof off of your building too. So,
Yeah.
All right. So, if you all were stuck on a desert island, tell me, one artist to listen to. Who's on your list? Who's on your playlist? Or you can have your top 5 too. It's all right. I want to know top 5.
Let's see. I think I would go with Aerosmith. Aerosmith had a lot of good music. Toys in the Attic. That's what I would take. That's a great album.
Okay.
I can dig it.
Had a lot of good songs. Funny story there. My kids came out from picking them up at school one time. Dad, you got to hear this great new band. Yeah, who's that? Aerosmith. They have been around since the 70s. They were my band.
To be fair, Steven Tyler's voice is very different in the 80s than it was in the 70s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hard living will do that to you.
It will. I just, in the 80s, one could think, hey, this is a brand new sound. Might be the same people, but they've changed a bit due to some, as you said, hard living.
Yeah.
So
80s, 90s Aerosmith was definitely different. Still good.
Yep.
Definitely different.
And now he looks like anybody's grandma.
That good?
Plastic surgery and not aging well are not a combination that I
He
want to
didn't look
personally
good 40
experience.
years ago.
That's fair.
Again, hard living. Let that be a warning to anyone. This is what hard living does, right?
Yeah.
Well, he obviously had to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His heart's been through it, that's for sure.
No doubt.
What about you, Dad?
I'd probably pick Dan Fogelberg. I'm more into singer-songwriter.
I do like that.
Okay. Any particular song or album that stands out?
I like so many of his, I can't hardly pick. There's probably 10 out of the greatest hits albums that I would love of his, but
Greatest hits are on the table. I mean, you get to bring a whole album.
I know what my favorite song of his is. Old Lang Syne.
yeah, that's a good one.
Same Old Lang Syne. Love that one. Autumn hates that one at the holidays, but I'm like, it's a Christmas classic.
Fogelberger was a great band.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dan Fogelberg. Love
Yeah.
that song.
Well, he went the multitude. I mean,
Mhm.
he went
Yeah.
clear across.
Cross genre.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. That's one I'm probably familiar with it and don't know it. I honestly would have put money on you saying Rush because you're the one who introduced me to Rush.
I do like Rush a lot. 2112 is probably my favorite album, but if I had to be stuck on a desert island, Fogelberg would be a hell of a lot easier to listen to than
all Rush all the time.
Yeah. I mean, Geddy Lee would kind of grow on you.
Fogelberg.
How about Eric Clapton?
Oh, another one of those guys that went different genres.
Uh-huh.
We talking solo or are we talking with
Cream.
That's where I'm going.
Both.
Yeah, like very different sounds.
Yeah.
Very different sounds.
Well, he traveled the gauntlet throughout his career too. There's some of that stuff that I don't really care for, and then some of it's the best thing ever was.
Like Dan Fogelberg reminds me of actually one of my favorite artists right now, which is Paul Thorne. He kind of crosses genres of like country, blues, and a little bit of folk, but he's a singer-songwriter, small artist. Absolutely love him. You might like. When we're done tonight, remind me. I'm going to introduce you to Paul Thorne. He's fantastic.
I like a lot of genres. The only thing that I really can't listen to is gangster rap. I just absolutely cannot listen to it.
Yeah, a lot of folks can't.
But, I mean, I like opera, some of it. I like instrumental. I like classical. I like Bach, Beethoven.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you wouldn't think that a hill jack like myself would actually listen to that, but I do.
I pick my genres based on the mood I'm in and what I'm trying to do.
That's exactly what it is.
Same.
Got to dial it in sometimes. You need that slow classical to kind of almost study music to really.
I've seen, my wife and I have seen Andre Botticelli.
Botticelli?
Yeah.
We've seen him 2 or 3 times.
Oh, wow.
He's really good.
Okay.
First album I ever bought was a group, and you can't see the air quotes, but it was a group called Salt Peanuts. And basically, it was one guy on a saxophone recording 9 different parts of jazz, all in harmony.
See, and there are a lot of sophisticated people in the world that'll say jazz is about this and jazz is about that, and it's the notes they're not playing, and I just hear noise. I am not a huge fan of brass instruments.
Oh, I love jazz. Well, see, a saxophone is different. It's a reedy, brassy instrument, so it's got a different tone.
Yeah.
What was your first album? I know what mine was.
My first,
CD. What was your first CD or cassette?
The first one that I can remember is the Top Gun soundtrack.
Yeah, I had that one too. Top Gun soundtrack.
There may be one that predates that I just have memory hold, but that's the first one I can recall.
I can remember that was probably one of my first cassettes. I can remember my first CD, Hootie and the Blowfish, Cracked Rearview Mirror.
Okay.
And then you came out with Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana was right around
the early to mid 90s that's where I bought the vast majority of my music.
Yeah. I threatened to throw it away, and now I listen to it.
Well, it's on the oldies station now.
It's in the elevator.
It's happened to us at this point. We always laughed it's never going to happen.
All of the bands that I like, all of them are on the oldies station now.
Yeah. 80s, 90s, and today.
Yeah.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah. Well, that's all mixed in now.
Yeah.
You can in 5 songs you can have Metallica Black Album, Nirvana, Led Zeppelin. We're just running the gamut all the way from
and the Supremes.
Chuck Berry's in there for some reason. Yeah.
I've been watching a little bit of the clips on YouTube, and you get these Gen Z kids and people that are just discovering this music.
The reaction videos.
It's like, holy crap. They made really good music back then whenever they didn't have all the ability to just have the electronics make it.
Yeah, the auto-tune and the sampling. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when real singer-songwriters get an actual instrument in their hand and they have some talent. Yeah, it's and amazing things happen.
There was a lot of talent in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a reason those guys are still around. They can still sing. They sang then. They sing now.
Well, not only that, the talent in the songs that they wrote, you don't get that today with today's music.
There are a few specifically that I'm aware of in the country genre that are starting to get that old kind of late 70s, early 80s sound back.
Yes, and they rise to the top quickly.
And they should, right?
Yes.
The poppy stuff is no good.
Right.
But
well, when you started having pop stars come over into country and calling it country,
whatever sells albums, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's an industry for a reason, I suppose.
Yeah.
Music lost its soul a long time ago.
Well, yeah. That's a whole nother probably podcast that we could
That's fair.
delve into the soullessness of music. But kind of going off of that too, books or movies, and why?
Books. Every time books. Books have more in them.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a 2-hour movie, 3-hour movie on some of these, that they've really tried to do right, and it covers 1/10 of the book. just the description and things like that you get in a book that you don't get in a movie is incredible. And there's a lot of nuance that you miss in a movie. You know, it's set up for certain angles and sound and things like that, where in a book it's described, and it may be different for you than it is for anybody else. And so I'll take the book anytime.
Well, the book, you can definitely dive into the story. You become part of the story. But after looking at the screen all day, sometimes I'd just as soon just spoon feed that screen again from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they each have their place, right? And nobody asked me, but there are times that you just want to be entertained, and then there are times when you kind of want to be immersed, and I think those are different experiences.
Well, the immersion is the ultimate experience, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are just certain things that do lend themselves to movies.
Yeah.
Top Gun is a great example.
Yeah.
You
Top
can't
Gun's not as good a story.
Yeah, I don't think you could describe that as like and then the jet flew by.
Yeah.
And it went.
Yeah.
You know, our listeners have been begging for sound effects.
I know they have. I'm glad we could give that to them in episode 10.
But no, you're right. The scope and scale sometimes translates better to the screen, right? The Gladiator, for instance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Russell Crowe stomped over and was like, "Arr."
Go way back, Ben-Hur.
Yeah, you couldn't have put that into a book as easily.
That is way back.
Yeah. But it's a great movie.
It still is.
Yeah.
It's still a great movie.
And just the panorama of what you see is incredible.
I'm just gonna throw out movie titles in the hope that Chris makes noises. Jurassic Park. Dear Lord.
I could start talking about chaos theory there, but we'll just
All right. In the book category.
He just got a new name, Captain Chaos.
It's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate.
I'm shaking my head, yes.
Yeah, you raised him. I'm sure you got stories that fit right in that bucket.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, don't blame that on me.
That's fair.
No, but you can announce it to the world.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to happen probably later on.
All right. So everybody at the table seems lined on books, at least partially. Fiction or nonfiction?
Both.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the right answer.
I was going to say there's only one correct answer, and it's yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a recommendation of a book or a movie, and why? Like, what's your most recommended one? You're like, you have to see this, you have to read this, or you can have one of each, I suppose.
There's a book I've been recommending to people lately. It's called Decision Points. It's George W. Bush's presidential memoir. And it's written differently than any other presidential memoir in that he takes 10 different decisions he made during his presidency. And he explained why he made each decision, going from things that happened to him in his childhood all the way up to that point in time, and things that influenced him, people that influenced him in his life, and the rationale for the decisions that he made. It may not, and he admits it may not have always been the right decision, but here's why I made it. And it's really a good book. I do recommend it.
Well, a lot of right decisions you only know are right in hindsight,
Right.
right? You can only act on the information you've got at the time.
Right.
So
that's the only way that you really know, isn't to let history prove it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What about you, Dad?
Probably the best book, one of the hardest books I've ever read, and took me months to read it, was The Frontiersman by Alan
W. Eckhart.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's basically, he took old journals and letters and all kinds of information from the period of this Ohio country being a territory and being settled, and he formed a story around Tecumseh and Simon Kenton at one time, Simon Kenton probably owned 2/3 of Ohio.
Yeah, certainly this area.
And, you know, and the interactions between them and the Shawnee and all of the battles and everything that happened. And he amassed such a quantity of historic data and research for this project, for this book, that when he got done writing the book, he wrote 6 more.
Wow.
Off of this, off of
all
the
that
original research.
It's having seen this on your shelf and actually having tried to read it now twice unsuccessfully. It is a very difficult read, but in large measure because there are so much footnotes that you have to look at for the context.
There are probably 200 pages of footnotes in the back of the book that you have to look up because of the context and where this stuff came from and how it is actually related into the book. But the actual play that they do in Chillicothe of Tecumseh came from that book.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, it's what I found is I was only finally able to do it because of the audiobook. Because the audiobook was like, I can't look at a footnote and not like go check it.
Me too. Me too. That's why it took me so long.
Right. You're going back and forth and back and forth.
And you're losing that immersion in the story. Yeah. And then the audiobook was just like, yeah, we're not doing that.
They forced you to just
And what is your thoughts on
it? It was very good. Simon Kenton, is kind of an unsung hero of the frontier. There are many.
He's an unknown hero.
That's what I was going to say. There are many that got a lot more recognition for the things that they did. But by comparison, I have to imagine that his deeds were at least greater in volume, if not greater in impact. So like just so much that's in there around him and, Tecumseh and Blue Jacket as well. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All great choices. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, you already know mine. But are we going fiction or nonfiction?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, fiction is the Silmarillion.
Yeah, I knew
Unquestioned.
that. Yeah.
Unquestionable.
That's again one of those you kind of have to go back and forth.
Yes, I don't know what that is.
The footnotes.
It is essentially Tolkien's creation
that
story.
Explains it.
Yeah.
It's deep.
You
from what I understand,
Lord of the Rings, and then you try to read Silmarillion, and you're shocked because it's nothing the same.
It reads like scripture.
Yeah,
it reads a lot like scripture. But if we're going fiction, I'm going Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. It's a fairly recent book, but it is highly motivational. Would recommend it to anybody. The audio version is very, very good as well.
That's a good book.
Yeah,
sounds like it.
Fiction for me, anything by Clancy or Grisham. I like both of those authors.
Okay.
But I'll go old school too, and I'll go back to Lord of the Rings.
I try to read it once a year, but the Silmarillion still has a head and shoulders above for some reason.
I think it's the context that comes from that, right?
Well, I don't. It's just more vast.
Yeah, I can see that.
See, I remember when it came out, and everyone ran out and got it,
and were probably disappointed because they were expecting the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Well, if it reads like scripture, that it was difficult to put all that together.
Oh yeah.
Well, he didn't actually put it together. So he had a vision of putting it together at some point, but unfortunately died. It was his youngest son who took up the editorial torch and took the most finished pieces of it and then kind of the more polished versions that would kind of tie it all together and put it into a narrative. And it has some appendices and some footnotes in it too, just because it might not be the right version. He never said like, hey, this is the one. Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a passion project of his that he started during World War I, and it unfortunately wasn't completed by the time he died.
I've been doing the audiobooks on Jordan Peterson.
Oh,
and I'll tell you, I can do him for about an hour or two, and then he uses so many big words. so much psychology that I've just got to set it on a shelf for a little bit.
Yeah, it's there's gristle. You got to chew on that for a while.
You do. You can't absorb it all at once because everything is so thought provoking.
Yeah.
So Silmarillion.
Yeah.
You're gonna go with sticking with that final answer?
Oh yeah, final answer.
Right.
Final answer since I was like 17.
Okay, that's fair.
What about you?
Me, one of my absolute favorite books to read, and I don't read it as often as I should, Theodore Rex. It is part of a trilogy of books, but I think it's the middle book, and it's probably the best out of the three. But it details, it's a biography of Theodore Roosevelt. And Theodore Rex covers from the minute he takes office after the assassination of McKinley.
Mm-hmm.
McKinley. And it goes until the minute that he leaves office after his kind of second term, his term where he was elected. There's another book that details literally from his birth right up until McKinley's assassination. And then there's another one from the minute he leaves the White House until his death. But he was already kind of one of those most interesting men in the in the world type of guys, started the park system, got shot and still gave a speech, larger than life character. But you listen to, that time, that time frame of history where we were transitioning out of like Civil War and the expansion, the expansionism into that more modern and industrialized civilization that the United States became at that point, right in that late 1800s, early 1900s timeframe. And the decisions that he made that still have ramifications today, Panama Canal, things like that, those are, looking at, what was going on in the world. It's really, to me, it's a brilliant study of what that turn of the century America looked like. And just listening to, the presidency of probably one of the most interesting men in the world. Again, he could have been selling Dos Equis because he was the most interesting man in the world. So, but I love that book because just the context, and it's not one of those, again, super important president. I mean, he's on Mount Rushmore for Pete's sake, but he's not one of those Mount Rushmore presidents that gets talked about as often, right? He created the national park system that wouldn't exist without, Theodore Roosevelt. And just the importance that he really played. You just don't, people know who he is just by his look, but they don't really know who he is.
Well, he had to live in that time frame because he certainly couldn't have lived today.
No. Well, and he couldn't have lived at the beginning of the country either. He was the right person at the right time to take us from where we were with the Civil War into a more modern civilization. He was that right bridge. And that's what I love. I love seeing that, and how his mind worked on, as we became that global power before World War I and things like that. So it was really interesting. It was a really interesting read.
You've recommended that a few times, and I still have neglected to pick it up.
There is an audiobook version of it too. I don't know how good the audiobook version is. I've never listened to it. That's one of those that I like to thumb through as I'm reading it because I don't know, I can take my time a little bit more. So
it's in my book stack.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I recommend that book to anybody wanting to just have a good read and get a good, solid education of really an important historical figure for
turn of the 20th century.
Yeah, turn of the 20th century. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. But if you thinking on that same question too, is there a book or a movie that has Masonic, has to be Masonic or a Masonic theme that you'd recommend and why as well? And it can go either way.
I read a book probably, I'm going to guess it was around 2005, that was written by Steve Berry. It was a fiction. It really got me interested in the Templars. It was a Templar Legacy was the name. And for me, it was a good book. And it really brought a lot of the Templar facts forward but it was fiction.
Historical fiction. I think I borrowed this from
you. You read it.
Yeah.
And it is actually what brought me back to be interested in masonry.
Oh, wow. Huh. I'm going to have to check that one out from you.
I don't know that I have it. I borrowed it from him.
No, I'll have to borrow from you then.
That'd be fine.
I know where to find him.
All right. I usually do too, either here or at home.
That's fair. What about you, Jim?
Boy, I've not really seen a lot of movies that are Masonically based. Of course, we still know that Riley has all the secrets.
Oh, we're still trying to get over that one.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
We really are.
I don't know. I kind of...
You think
for an entertainment value,
it's a fun movie.
A fun movie. You're right.
It's a great movie.
But it plays at all of the information that's out there that's so wrong.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like literally somebody watched one of those documentaries on like History Channel or something about Freemasonry where they get 98% of the facts wrong, and they took those 98% of the facts, put them all in there, and said those 2% that are actually real.
Yeah,
we're not going to put that in there.
I want the guy who wrote the Dan Brown script, and I want the guy who wrote the History Channel documentary. I need you guys in a room right now.
Get me Nicolas Cage.
Right.
And then we have National Treasure.
Yeah,
that's about how that went.
That's one. Yeah, I don't
know. I think Scott Walther was in there somewhere.
A lot of credibility.
No.
Diminishing credibility. Rapidly diminishing credibility.
Everything you wanted to know about Masons is not in that movie.
Yeah. You're telling me that there's not treasure behind Mount Rushmore.
I mean, I haven't been there myself, but all facts point to no.
Oh, well, guess I'm not going then.
You should.
I'd like to, but
I meant on top of it. I have been. Yes.
There's a
museum in the back, isn't there? Or what was supposed to be a museum?
It was supposed to be a museum, but it has never materialized, and for good reason.
And I thought I read that they actually had opened up some of that for America's 250th. I thought I read an article about that.
They may have.
Well, it is an archive.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I think,
but I don't know that it was open to the public.
I think they've done a little bit of that for the America's 250th. I may be 100% wrong, so people can fact check me whatever they want. But I thought I read an article about that recently. I can't remember where.
I think they're using it for a depository.
Yeah.
Or a repository.
No, is it documents? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that. They're opening one of the lower levels of the Lincoln Memorial. That's what it was.
Okay.
I did read that, which is kind of cool too. So, yeah, well, that segues perfectly into, really the heart of our conversation is, family and Masonry. And we're going to jump right into your journeys. So, I guess, Dad, I'm going to ask you first, what was your why? What or who, influenced you to get that petition out? Why did you say, yeah, this is a journey that I'm going to take?
Well, interestingly, I knew if I knew next to nothing about Masonry, that's probably an exaggeration of how much I actually knew about Masonry. But my family is not Masons, but my wife's family, I mean, it goes back 3 or 4 generations. I just came into possession of her great-grandfather's ritual book.
Oh.
Published, I believe the copyright on it is 1914 or something like that. And reading it is really a chore because, so much as, and it's not that the rituals themselves have changed. They've changed not that much. But the way they wrote the ritual books back then was...
The ciphers changed?
Yes.
Wasn't it all like pictorial or
kind
of like hieroglyphs or almost something like that almost?
A lot of glyphs along with letters and things like that. And if you know the rituals, then you can kind of figure out what the different glyphs are. But it's an interesting thing. But I didn't grow up in that. My wife did. And so, I knew my father-in-law was a Mason. He talked about it some, didn't talk about it a lot. And it's one of those things I got interested in probably when I was 35. But I really didn't know anybody in Masonry. And I got busy raising my kids, working, things like that. And I guess I just didn't get around to it until I'd retired. And then I got more interested in Masonry. And in fact, after Chris joined the Masons, then I became more interested in Masonry.
He saw I was having a good time and was like, maybe I should do that too.
Yeah.
I'm immensely curious about these pictograms and if there is perhaps a cipher in your lodge's archives.
Now that I would have to check. In fact, I'm not even sure where our archives are.
I know where ours are at.
Same. And there might be ciphers in there.
Yeah.
I think the Ark of the Covenant's back there too.
I doubt it.
I don't know. Art stored everything back there.
We'd have had to have it first, though.
That's fair.
If we had it once, it would absolutely be back there.
It's probably in the basement then.
No.
It was moved.
No, okay.
Yeah. In fact, you don't know this. I just came into possession of your grandfather's Masonic Bible.
Actually, I did know that because Mom sent me a photo when she was bringing it back. That's the other thing. She texted me a photo of it when she was coming back from Grandma's house. I think about a month or two ago. They were cleaning out some of Pa's stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, we found it and brought it home."
Right, and I have his monitor too.
Oh, I can't wait to see those.
All of a similar age?
No, his Bible and his monitor were from when he was raised, but he used his grandfather's cipher book.
Gotcha.
Or his ritual book.
Wow, man,
that's cool.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it's pretty fragile. It's pretty delicate. It's one of those that it's like a white glove type thing. You're like, okay, I'm really holding a document from 1914 or whatever, 15, and it's like, this is over 100 years old. I better not sneeze.
Right. And you can tell it's been well used.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's the cool part is it's been well used, which tells you a lot about, at least it tells me a lot about, the family's history with that. It wasn't like, something pristine where you're cracking that spine for the first time. It's got no spine left. It's literally got no spine left, which gave me some chills when I held it the first time.
That's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. It really is.
That's a neat find. That's very cool.
In fact, I'm going to show it. There's a gentleman in our lodge. He's actually a past Grand Master in Indiana, and he works at the Masonic Museum in Indianapolis, and he should be back from Arizona now. He goes there for the winter, so I'll be taking it in to show him.
I'll be curious to hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, Lord. What about you, Dad? What got you interested?
Well, I was around it at work when I worked. I'm in my mid-20s. There was a lot of Masons around, and there was as many Masons as there were non-Masons. And among the non-Masons, there was always that banter going on that you can't get a promotion around here because the Masons will take it. But so there was always that, and there was some things going on in my life that prevented me from joining. And wouldn't happen to have been kids and work and everything else. So finally, when I was in my late 40s, I decided that kids are gone. And I developed some interest back in it and determined that, I need to pursue this or I'll regret maybe not doing that. And it's been a wonderful journey.
Yeah, what was it like going in without any friendly faces?
I had one fellow that I knew, but only somewhat. And coming in meeting everybody. And Gilbert Kokensparger was very influential in talking to me and pulling me the final pulls in to, hey, come on, just come on. You can't.
I remember.
You're interested, so just come on in.
I remember Gilbert. Yeah.
And Dick Lewis, Dick helped me study every degree. I sat on his back porch many nights and studied.
It's the one thing about this lodge. You might not know anybody, but you'll have friends shortly if you join.
Yep.
And it'll probably be Richard too, so
well, he'll be involved.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I will tell you that I have met a lot of good men since I joined this lodge. And when I worked with the district, going around to the state, and also in 2018, I got to know the Grand Master a little bit. And because of the way the district works, and he put together a cruise to the Caribbean, and you could purchase a ticket, you and your wife, and go. We went. My wife and I went. We actually performed a entered apprentice degree on the ship.
What?
Did you have the ship sail east and west?
Yes.
Okay.
No, we set the room up by the way it was sailing.
Okay.
And no, it was wonderful. I mean, we did the degree. It was Masons from all over the state of Ohio. And if there were any Masons on the cruise, they were invited.
Was this a pro tem candidate?
Yes.
Okay.
But I met a lot of wonderful guys on that and ladies on that cruise. And we had a lot of fun. Did a lot of things. I mean, it was kind of neat.
Doing an EA on a cruise ship was not in my. I'm getting my mind blown a little bit. That was not on what I thought would be a topic of conversation. That's interesting. And were they all Ohio Masons?
If there was a Mason on board and we knew about it, they were invited, provided they could prove that they were.
Well, I just know from our friend across the table here and from Chris that we don't have exact overlap.
No.
Across jurisdictions.
Right. Yeah. No.
That was the reason for my inquiry.
Yeah.
But they took part.
Okay.
They didn't have a role, but they took part.
Okay. So it was an Ohio degree.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, the Grand Master was on the cruise, right?
Yes.
Well, he can actually say that's okay.
And did.
Yeah. I'm not questioning with the allowability. I'm just wondering if there was infighting about how to go about it.
The
right.
Grand Master can say, we'll do whatever we want. And you say, yes, sir.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. And we came over for actually your inspection.
Yeah.
What was it, about 12 from our lodge?
Yeah, you guys had a good turnout.
You guys could have taken home the traveling gavel, actually.
They probably
we did
should
get our
have.
picture with it.
Did you get your picture with it?
We did get our picture with it. Yes.
Did they let you take the picture?
Yeah.
Okay. No, we'll send it to you.
No, it was electronic. We're good. But we came over, but we had to get permission. And basically, we had to apply to our Grand Lodge, and our Grand Lodge coordinated with your Grand Lodge, and then through them to your lodge.
That's typically how it works.
Yeah. Like if that was the first time I'd gotten a form, it's like, hey, these 12 guys are going to visit your lodge. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, here you go.
Formality signed.
But no, I mean, to me, that actually, again, I think about that too, and just the differences. I've seen them both now, and it's pretty cool. You're going to have to come with me one of these.
Yeah.
Both of you are going to have to come with us.
I'm going to have to venture outside the state and
one of these days.
See some degree work.
Now, the differences are really kind of interesting.
I've heard them described, and I can kind of imagine them, but I'm sure it doesn't do it justice. Yeah. So.
And Worshipful Mark Craig he's got some property down in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And he visits a local lodge down there.
Yeah.
And
is that one of the ones where it's all still...
It's ancient.
Ancient. Okay, that's what I was going to say.
And he was like, he had a little trouble the first night. So he got pulled aside and but
I'm imagining that kind of.
I imagine he handled it fine.
Yeah.
But it was probably a little bit like embarrassing just because even when you know your stuff, you step into a new jurisdiction.
Well, and that ancient form
get humbled.
That ancient form's, from what I understand, very different.
He can tell you.
It is a good story. It's not one that I think we can share here, but it is
no,
a really good story.
I do want to hear that one day. I'll have to ask him next time I see him. It's stated. As you think about, your moments leading up to that entered apprentice degree, both of you, what was going through your mind leading up to that degree? Because I know we've talked about this with other guests and amongst ourselves, what was going through our mind, but what was going through y'all's mind?
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay.
You're more recent than me, so
I can just remember standing back, sitting out in the lobby while they were opening, and thinking, "What in the world am I doing?" Because I don't know anything about this. Nobody really does until you get into it. But that whole feeling of this is really something I don't know anything about, and I'm about to do it. And this is way out of my comfort zone. So yeah, it was.
I can remember the conversation or lack thereof almost on the way home from that, because I was able to go out for all of his degrees. And I'm sitting there trying to, and he's like, I'm not sure yet.
It's so
he
much
still hadn't processed it all after it was over.
It, yeah. So we're driving back to my folks' house, and I'm like, well, what did you think? Tell me a little bit about this. And then he's like, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because it was a little quiet, and I'm sitting there like, all right, well, I better break this quiet, because I don't like quiet in a car.
But I mean, gentlemen, jump in if you disagree. I think that's the right reaction.
Yes.
Because if you're too eager, I don't think that you have given it the proper deference and amount of thought.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No,
I think you actually do need
right.
to sit with it for a minute to really understand.
Well, interestingly, our lodge has a custom where the junior warden actually confers entered apprentice degrees. So I've learned that, and you wouldn't believe how much I've actually come to understand now about what happened back then. And I'm still learning.
You will every time you see.
Every single time.
There'll be a lecture. There'll be a part of the charge. There'll be something that someone will say with a certain inference on a certain word,
mm-hmm.
and it will bring a whole new meaning to the entire sentence that he just said, and a whole new lesson will pop into your brain. And that has happened to me for 17 years.
Yeah, it's really interesting too, because you've heard it before.
Yeah.
But maybe you glossed over it or something like that.
Or the way it was spoke.
Or the way it was spoken or something like that. But now, you either hear it differently or you're sitting here reading it and figuring out, oh, so that's what that means.
Well, not to be too philosophical, but I mean, we're kind of new people every day. We're learning something. Mm-hmm. We're having different life experiences. I've always told new guys that there will be a new problem that will present itself, or you'll be exposed to a new situation, mm-hmm. and you'll then hear that degree, and for whatever reason, that'll pop into your head, and you'll take something new away from it because of that. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of the way I've looked at it. It's, but like you, it's not quite 17 years. Every single time we do degree work, it just something will hit a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not every time. I won't say it's every time, but I will say that every year I'd say one out of every two that I go see, whether it's here or any other lodge, I will take something new away from it.
Yeah.
There's just so much to take in. And other Masons who've been through this know you're experiencing this for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And you really are in a place that you've never been in this position before.
Mm-hmm.
And so things just hit you differently and stay with you. And so you miss other things and you have to go see it.
It's also easier when you're not the focal point.
Yeah.
If you're not worried about your, doing your part, and you're not worried about kind of being the center of attention, and you have that luxury of just kind of sitting back and just watching it happen, that's when it tends to happen to me the most.
Yeah.
And that's why, whenever we, initiate somebody during inspection season, I always talk to them about, hey, the next 3 entered apprentice degrees are going to be here, here, and here. Go see it. Go see it. Number 1, it'll help you as you memorize things. But number 2, you get that experience on the other side.
Well, you really need to.
Yeah,
as you're going through the degrees. The problem is people are busy.
Yeah, they are.
That's the problem.
They are.
Yeah, we do always try to get our new entered apprentices to other entered apprentice degrees.
Yeah.
And, Fellowcraft, Master Mason.
Oh.
Because, it fills in a lot of blanks, that's for sure.
Well, it not only that, it helps on the examination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you start to understand a little bit more about what happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why it happened to you.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, I can remember, I think it was like a week after you had gone through your degree. I called you on my way home from work or something. You're like, oh yeah, we're going to see an EA degree this week. I was like, you go.
Yeah.
You do that. That's awesome. So
I probably went to 3 or 4.
Yeah. I mean, at least in Ohio around inspection season, that's very easy to do.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Because I know, and we can get into some of these differences later, but I know in Indiana, they don't have those inspections. So you are relying on going to actual degree work for, a live candidate or even a pro tem candidate.
Right. Well, I don't know that I've ever been to a pro tem.
Really?
No.
I've never seen a dead candidate.
Yeah.
We always hope they're real live candidates instead of real dead ones.
I saw a candidate leave.
Why don't we change that to active?
Active. An active.
Very active defibrillator.
Wait. Repeat that. You said you saw a candidate leave?
Yeah.
What?
We were visiting another lodge and he was at dinner and then he left.
Before?
Yes.
We had a inspection candidate get through the floor work to the lecture
Mm-hmm.
and left. He was having a kidney stone.
Oh no.
Oh,
That'll do it.
yeah.
And we had to bring him back after he recovered and put him through that. But you talk about, we had 150 men in that room, 130 men in that room. And they were like, what happened? And we,
and it's a fair question.
Yeah. And we, he was sick and we had to, but he didn't leave in an ambulance. So everybody didn't realize how sick he was.
It's a weird time to do an Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
I can hear some of the old timers grumbling right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't belong to the lodge anymore. He demitted and he lives in New York.
Yeah.
And he demitted to New York.
Yeah.
So, but.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's one of those, it's like that John Travolta meme from
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I follow.
Going back to that, Steve, what was it like, the moments leading up to your entered apprentice?
Utter terror. I mean, really, I mean, I was contemplating whether I should just leave. Do I really want to do this? Having a few jugsters in the crowd.
What, in our lodge, jokester? Nah.
They'd, indicated that there might be a goat somewhere. And I was like, oh, crap, what is this? And then once we got started, it was okay. It was, but I can tell you, I was utterly nervous all the way through the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I remembered a third of it.
Oh, yeah.
And, it took me probably until the second degree to get to the point where I actually had enough trust in everybody to relax enough to go through it and learn something.
Yeah.
I share that exact sentiment because I think that's exactly what my first thoughts were, again, coming in, literally not knowing a single soul here. And I'm sitting in the preparation room. I'm just sitting there going, what the actual hell have I gotten myself into? What am I doing? What am I wearing? What is this? They're blindfolding me? Where am I? What is going on? And it was probably not until the Master Mason degree that I felt comfortable. And I was like, okay, I can trust these guys. But then I was out at New Home, so it was a brand new set of guys. And I'm like, oh. But again, that one was really cool. And then anybody that hasn't been to the sunrise service out there, or ritual, I would go see that. But that's another story for another time. But I echo that. I was like, and it's funny that you mentioned the goat, because as soon as I did my degree, like the next day, I think my mom was actually up at my grandparents', and I'd called to just talk, and my mom or my grandpa asked who my mom was talking to, and she said, "Oh, I'm talking to Chris." And he goes, "Did he get an ornery goat?"
It's funny. He asked after he asked your mom about me. He said, "Did he ride the goat, and did they knock him on his ass?"
It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're perpetuating it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as hazing goes, this is very, very, very low-hanging fruit.
Very.
It is. But there's a commonality throughout the entire country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's what made me feel comfortable. I was like, all right, they're joking about that here. They're joking about it in Indiana. All right, This is a commonality. This is just the thing.
That's a joke every Mason will get.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it also put me a little bit more at ease too. Just a little bit. I'm like, okay, I can go back to these guys, I think. Pretty sure.
It sounded like it ended in 2 question marks.
I think. Yeah. So, no, I it's good to hear that though, because again, I felt the exact same way. I think I felt the same. Actually, I think I felt more nervous, looking at, kind of where I'm steering this next question though, is I felt more nervous before my first return.
Yeah.
Than during the degree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially long form, because I think everybody in this room did long form returns, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So,
well, I can tell you that I knew it before I walked in there, and that blue carpet just sucked it right out. Because there was blue carpet in that room.
It's the same blue carpet that's on like the stages, right?
Yeah.
It was throughout that room until
pretty recently when we pulled it up and polished the pine.
Just before COVID, right at when COVID hit.
Yeah.
We pulled that carpet up and sanded that floor and put the urethane down.
Yeah. But yeah, it does. It sucks it right out of your brain. You walk right in there and you're like, what's my name?
Yeah.
It's even worse than the master's chair the first year.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's a huge vacuum underneath of that chair. It just sucks everything out.
It's like a black hole.
Yeah.
It's like a black hole.
Well, That's exactly what the East does. It draws in everything. It draws in eyeballs. It draws in responsibility. It's like there is a black hole under there.
It, I'll never forget my first week in the East. I was, elected on a Tuesday, installed on a Saturday, and doing a Master Mason degree a week after that.
Yeah.
Like literally less than 2 weeks. And it's like, well, you get to do a Master Mason degree for an active candidate.
Yep.
Not a real dead one, not a live one, an active candidate.
I'm pretty sure I told you didn't have to do it and I would do it if you wanted me to.
Yeah, but I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's my job. It's my responsibility.
Yeah. I didn't want to make it seem like I pushed you off the high dive.
It's all right. Interestingly, and my dad can probably confirm this story, that's the only way I actually learned kind of how to dive is I was a swimmer. Most people know that growing up. And, diving off of the starting blocks, that was not something I could do at all.
It was awkward.
I mean, my chest would be as red as a tomato, right? Just from right that. And I had a coach. He took me out to the diving board, said, lay down. He literally picked me up by my ankles, hung me over the side and went like this. He was like, go streamlined, did this, and then dropped me in so that I did that kind of.
For those who can't see it, he's dipping him up and down so that his head and upper body are going in and out of the water.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bully shaking change out of your shorts.
Kind of.
Pretty much, except you're wearing a Speedo, so there's not much change anywhere.
Yep.
Thanks for the visual.
You're welcome.
He called him a plunger.
Yeah. But yeah, so.
And from evermore, he was able to go off the blocks. He did not want to do that again.
It sounds like getting waterboarded upside down.
Do you have video of this?
I do not. I was told about it by his coach later.
If you had video, you could probably sell it.
Oh, I'm sure you probably could.
Put that up on YouTube; it'd get all kinds of hits.
I'm sure. I'm sure. But again, that it's like again diving in head first. That you got to get pushed sometimes to get that going. So as you think about those returns, you think about feeling comfortable in lodge. Is there someone that you're like, yeah, they showed me the ropes, they made me feel like I was welcomed, and who are those honorable mentions in your Masonic journey?
Oh golly, I'd go with our secretary Ed Witt.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me we call them the crossfires in Indiana, and I don't know why, we just do. So he taught me all of those. He's taught me all of each of the rituals and everything that I've learned. And he's just been, whenever I just text him, hey, you available? Sure. So we call, and he knows I'll call, and we'll go through some of it. Then I'll get on my bicycle and I'll work on it, because that's when the blood is flowing, and then I seem to memorize things better. So, but yeah, Ed has really been a help to me. And just let me give him a plug. Not this year, last year, he's Secretary of the Year.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah. Oh, and you want to talk about the crossfire. He was taking me visiting. I'd probably been an entered apprentice for 2.5 weeks. Or maybe 3. And I had learned the crossfire mostly, and we were going through it on the way there. So when we get there, they're looking for people to help, fill in the different things. And he says, nah, you're ready. And he signed us up to do the crossfire. So I'd been a Mason 3 weeks and was doing a crossfire in front of a lodge when they initiated an entered apprentice.
Pushing him off the deep end.
Am I correct in thinking that the crossfire is the candidate and the master craftsman?
It's the returns.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Return, yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I understood the vernacular. Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was my experience. It was terrifying.
It was terrifying. I do not consent.
Blink once if you're okay.
What about you, Steve? Who are...
Well, like I say, Gilbert Koch and Sparker was one, but Dick Lewis, he was my mentor just about all 3 degrees. He dragged me to every inspection he could get me to go to, and introduced me to people and I saw people that I knew for years at these inspections, and they're like, "You're a Mason." I said, "Well, I'm trying to be," and
I think we're all trying to be.
Yeah.
Well, I was just an apprentice, and it was like, "I'm trying to be," and they said, "No, you are. You've already done it.
You earned the title."
Yeah. And we did that all over the district, but he would drag me all of those things, and we would just have a ball going, and we get a carload, 4 or 5 guys, and we just go do those things. But I miss that. But quite frankly, I've been too busy to go.
Yeah.
That seems to be a theme. I'd like to see it come back, but I mean, it's hard, and especially, I know we're going to get to it a little bit later, but we got 3 guys with kids under 1.
Yeah, I know.
In this line.
Yeah.
We used to do that with Grand Lodge. We'd it's a 3-hour drive up there. We'd all meet here. We'd fill the van up.
Yeah.
And there'd be 5 guys, 6 guys pop in that van, and we'd take off and go to Cleveland or wherever the heck it was. And we would stop and eat breakfast, and Dick was always the bus driver. And
I think that was the case up until maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember I actually had the fortune to travel. I think it was him, Art, Tom, and Floyd, I think. All 4 of them, and then I was in the back.
Oh, but that was a tough trip.
Oh, it was fun.
There's a lot of hearing aids in there.
There were a lot of hearing aids, and it was all the way over to, actually, it was all the way over to 3 Rivers, so it was in Coshocton too. So but the knowledge was great.
I was going to say, that's close to 100 years of history. And
way over that. Probably closer to 2.
I think Richard's at about 40. I'm not sure about Tom.
Oh, he's 50 here.
Is he? Oh, then well over 100.
Yeah.
Floyd is a 60.
Floyd's 60 years, and so I mean, you and then Arthur, he's 40 or 50. So I mean,
closer
to 200.
Yeah, I mean, and here's me like, "Hi, I'm 6 months." I added a 6 months in there.
I'm new here.
And I mean, to me, it was just listening to all the stories. The stories from their time. They're like, "Oh, you remember when we went here for, Coshocton for that?" And I'm like, "No, but I'm listening. This is amazing."
And it is. It really is. That's part of it. I think that's part of handing the torch.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun because, again, 2 years ago, you, me, and Greg all drove down to Dayton for Grand Lodge.
Yep.
So it was kind of one of those where we got up early. We all met here, drove down to Dayton.
Fought for parking.
Realized we'd forgotten aprons, had to go buy overpriced ones at the
Masonic Exchange.
Masonic Bazaar or whatever it is that they have. Then we went and had lunch at some place that Greg took us in, not the greatest of neighborhoods.
We did stick out a little bit there.
Yeah. And then we came back for the voting. And then we had lunch at Waffle House.
That sounds right.
I think so.
Yeah. But it made for good stories.
Oh, it was great stories.
Traveling is some of the best.
I love it.
You get to know people a lot better.
Oh, yeah. You do get all the stories. It's fantastic.
I still have that overpriced apron, too.
Oh, so do I.
Well, you paid too much for it. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's in your suit pocket when you go to Grand Lodge.
It is quite literally my Grand Lodge apron now.
It is mine, too. I keep it actually in my car.
Right.
Just in case.
I took one out of the drawer upstairs and have it in my...
That's the way to do it.
And you're always got one then.
And I was a senior guy. I mean, I'm not absolving myself of any responsibility here. I should have been smart enough to know, like, hey, guys, we need to do this. But I wasn't.
Well,
right?
it was early in the morning.
Well, I'm not. That's a night before plan. That's because you're not going to make the right decision at 4:30 in the morning. You gotta have it together the night before.
Well, the last time I went to Kalahari, I walked clear across that daggone place.
Oh my God!
Got clear to the end over there. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. And you'd left it in the car.
Wasn't the apron? It was my dues card. I left I left because I minimized on my wallet, and I didn't have it in my wallet, and it was in another wallet in the truck.
Have you been to Kalahari?
No.
It's a huge resort. It was probably a 10-minute walk back to the vehicle.
Easily.
And when you get back, you got to wait in a line for 30 minutes to get in. The Grand Lodge communication is kind of a big deal.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's
Grand Lodge in Indiana is at the Scottish Rite
okay.
Cathedral. And there's usually pretty decent parking, but sometimes you do get out there.
Well, this was just across the resort to
Yeah.
get to the parking lot.
And then you had to walk another 10 minutes in the parking lot, usually, depending on
And it
where
was
you were.
raining.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
No, I do remember that. That was rough because that was me and Steve Wolfter standing there like, oh man, that sucks.
They were thinking, I gave them my proxy that I was carrying just in case I didn't come back.
You could. Yeah, it was pretty rough. I'm like, he might stay out there. He got podcasts. He's got audiobooks. He'll be fine.
Did he have a snack?
Probably. We had time to go get another cup of coffee, thank God.
What you don't understand is I live in my truck. So, yes.
Oh, so you did have snacks.
All
Good.
kinds of
There
stuff.
were provisions. Okay, fantastic. I think, we've been pretty clear about our journeys through the chairs. Your journey's been a little bit hopscotchy.
He's been a zigzag.
He's been a little hopscotchy. Mine's gotten a little hopscotchy.
You're more linear than I am.
But a little bit more linear. And knowing that both of you, you're in the line or you've been in the line, talk about that and what it's been like. I know what our experiences have been, but we're curious on y'all's experiences.
Well, I was raised at the end of March in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And the first day in lodge after I was raised, our junior deacon had resigned and left the lodge. And I walked in and they said, sit here. So I was senior deacon pro tem for the rest of the year.
Senior, not junior?
I'm sorry, junior deacon.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Junior deacon.
Junior deacon.
Little less daunting.
Yes. And then in November, when elections were, they put me to senior deacon. Because you've done it.
You did the chair.
Yeah. And then junior warden, and then senior warden, and then master the following year.
Did you ever go back and punch that ticket, or have you never been elected junior deacon?
I have never been elected junior deacon.
No kidding. We have that in common.
Oh, that you've never been. You weren't. You were pro tem too.
I've never
He's
been.
never been
deacon.
senior deacon.
That's
either.
right.
I've never
you
been
went
a
right
single
from
deacon.
steward to
junior steward
to junior warden. That's right.
It's right next door.
That honestly,
Literally, that's the trip.
I can't recall if I've shared this or not, but that is literally why I got the job, because the gentleman who had the job before me was self-employed, ran his own business, worked crazy hours. I had a ritual book, and I would prompt him, and being the absolute naive moron that I can be, he was unable to be there on the night of election. And I had prompted him enough that I felt comfortable with it. And I basically volunteered to sit in so we could open. And that's how I'm going to say this in air quotes, earned that chair. But it was just a massive promotion just based on complete naivete.
They never told you never to volunteer, right?
I don't know what. I don't know what compelled me to do it. Hindsight being 2020, I kind of, there's a part of me that wishes I'd done something a little bit more linear, but at the same time, I helped out the lodge. So
Yeah.
no regrets.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
What about you, Dad?
Okay, let's see. I think I had been a master mason, was it a month or 2 months? And our junior warden didn't show up. They said, here, sit here. You don't have to say anything. Do what he does. Okay. And a couple months later, they did that to me with the senior warden.
What, wardens or deacon?
I'm sorry, deacon.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was going to say, woof, that's a
Not
quick
deacon.
promotion.
Steward.
Steward.
Yeah. So then the last year, which would have been my first full year, they elected me as the junior deacon.
Mm-hmm.
And about 3 months in, the guy that was the senior deacon, who had been our worshipful master the year before, was just kind of filling a hole in the line, said, let's switch. So we switched for the rest of the year, and they just kept, now I'm the junior warden, and if the lodge will have me, then we'll see if I move along the line.
Well, they will.
I'm sure they will.
What's been your favorite chair so far?
So far, senior deacon without question.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the crown jewel. You've not done it.
Yeah, you haven't done that one yet. You're the only one at the table that hasn't done that yet.
I'm painfully aware.
It is definitely the...
other than the master's chair, for different reasons,
yeah,
it is the best chair in the lot.
No, including the master.
I was just saying, I think, to me, I think including the master's chair, it is that's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean...
To be fair, I've sat in the master's chair once, so...
You are intimate with every candidate that comes through that door.
You are their anchor.
You are the face of the lodge to that candidate.
You're responsible for them. You're responsible for their experience.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's
right. Exactly, and that's why I love it, because you're their anchor. You're the. I mean, other than like the stewards or the Tyler who might be helping them get ready in the preparation room, you're the person that you take them into that lodge, and you are the one. I always try to put it as you make them feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not only that, you're their guide. And beyond the guide, you become the guide outside of that degree work.
Yeah.
They start to lean on you.
Yes.
And you form a bond that's
unbreakable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and especially in the entered apprentice degree.
Yes.
They know nothing.
Yeah.
And you really are to them. I mean, they're this is the person I follow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're their anchor. You're the anchor that keeps them grounded in what's going on and keeps them from saying, you know what, I think I'm going to duck out at the lecture here and not come back. Seriously, I mean that's what you if you're doing your job right, you've made them feel so at ease, as much as I guess at ease as you can, to where they say, you know what, I'm going back in because this guy, he was really cool about, he's really cool.
You owe it to yourself to get in that chair.
Yeah, punch that ticket, man.
Oh, it's
written in history already. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah, this is something I want to do. It's honestly the needs of the lodge at this point.
Yeah,
for me,
and that's what it's been for me.
Yeah.
The only chair that I don't really like was the Tyler.
Yeah, being outside the doors a little. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to go to lodge if that's where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
We used to have a guy that loved the job.
Yeah, he was there for 30 years. And when he got too bad health-wise to come to lodge, we've been struggling for that position ever since. But for 30 years, he sat outside the door. And I don't know that he could I don't know that he ever attended lodge inside the whole time that I knew him.
Huh.
Liked the job though.
He loved coming down here and spending time with the guys, but he didn't really need to be inside. He'd been all the way through the chairs, and when I became master the first time, he had a little workshop in his garage, and he built me a gavel of my own and presented it to me. And I still have that gavel to this day.
Yeah.
And, before the end of the year, then Mark made me one as well. And I have it as well.
Yeah.
That was a neat tradition there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had any sort of woodworking skills, I would do that, but I'd cut a finger off. So
That's true.
I'm envisioning you in front of a table saw wearing a shirt that says like "I need supervision" or something ridiculous.
Oh yeah. No,
Call me Lefty.
Yeah.
I have no room to talk. I ran a table saw up about an 1/8 inch up my thumb once, and
that'll wake you up.
Luckily, it didn't go any further, and it grew back, and
it's like a lizard tail.
Yeah. And the nail grew back, and it was okay.
Oh my God!
Fortunately, it was a very sharp blade, and
I'd bet a considerable sum of money that some duct tape put that back together
immediately, so I could finish the project.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I knew I got it from somewhere.
Are you guys both of you? Are you involved in other appendant bodies with Masonry?
I am a member of the Scottish Rite. I'm not active. I am also a member of York Rite. I am past Sovereign Master of AMD, Heart of Ohio 258, and currently active in that. And in the process of starting to join the grotto, I think.
One that I'm also interested in eventually.
Yeah,
You're joining too, aren't you?
Yeah, I just need my hat size.
Yeah, that's right where I'm at.
Yeah, using a phone charger is probably not going to get that for you.
No, I actually have a tape at home. I just haven't.
We could have done it, but we didn't have a tape measure to measure the rope with.
That's true.
Yeah, as for me, I'm in York Rite, and I'm just getting ready to start the commandery part.
That's good. That's good.
That's the last one, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not York Rite, so.
Yeah, it's actually one that our past Grand Master, that's a member of our lodge, it used to be my understanding, custom in our lodge, that if you were the master of the lodge, you had to be York Rite before that.
Oh.
If you go York Rite,
you get the
4th degree.
Yeah, you get the 4th degree.
And you don't have to take the 4th degree before you go into the master's.
Right.
You don't have to get the past master's degree.
But you still have to go to the past master's degree, at least in Ohio.
You have to go to the past master's convocation to make them happy.
Yeah.
In Indiana, they have a separate past master's degree for York Rite than they do for becoming a master.
Yeah. Same in Ohio. Ish.
Yeah. But you get the 4th degree also in Scottish Rite.
Yeah. I've already had that, I think, too.
A lot of opportunities for that one.
There's a lot of opportunities for a lot of them.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, but they each have their own independent wealth that they bring to your knowledge base. And I would recommend both, really. I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
It's hard to do them all.
It's hard to be active in all of them.
Yeah.
It's easy to get in. It's hard to be active.
I tried to be active in both for a while, and it just didn't work out because life got in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did York Rite mainly because it was recommended to me as being a better degree to prepare you to be the master.
Well, not only that, you have to proclaim to be a Christian.
Yes.
In order to be York Rite.
So.
Well, I think that actually helps us change gears a little bit too. We've gotten through, I think, kind of y'all's backgrounds with Masonry. Now we want to dive in, I think, to some of the deeper aspects.
Yeah, a little bit more philosophical. Look at the fatherhood. Look at, it's a Father's Day episode. So
don't worry, you'll get to turn the tables on us at some point.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
I know.
Don't do that.
Oh, I just get to laugh a lot.
That happens to me quite frequently, getting laughed at a lot.
There's going to be awkward silence and me just hanging my head. What a moron I was. All right. So one at a time, obviously. Jim, I know you said your father-in-law was a Mason, but your father was not a Mason.
My father was not.
And I know my grandfather was not a Mason. So, through the benefit of hindsight, were you raised to kind of value the qualities that make a good Mason?
Oh, absolutely. My sisters, my brother and I, we talk about this a lot, especially around Father's Day, which is also pretty close to my dad's birthday. And, things like honest day's work for an honest day's wage, faith, live in such a way that you would be glad to know you, value your money, help others. I mean, I can just go on and on about the different lessons that my dad taught us that, if you join Masonry, you're going to learn those exact same things. So.
What about you, Dad? Any anecdotes from Grandpa?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he raised us to be, he and Mom raised us to be good people. They weren't necessarily really religious. We went to church some. Dad never went, but that was because he was in church a lot when he was a kid and he didn't like it. So he just didn't force us to go. But Mom went and she'd take us boys. Of course, we didn't have a clue what we were hearing or doing. And, it was, looking back on it, it was just something that we had to get up early to go do, and I don't know that I got a heck of a lot out of it other than the fact that I did get a little bit of understanding about it, not much, but I do recall having there's one episode in my life that my father really made an impression on me was the day that I lied to him. I didn't think that belt would ever stop. I never lied to him or anybody else again. But he got his point across.
Yeah.
It's always the conversation afterwards where it kind of sinks in.
That conversation had to wait a while.
Yeah. My dad was a lot the same way. There were consequences to your actions.
Definitely.
And then we talked about your actions.
Yeah. After all of it had kind of receded.
Yes.
And calm and quiet had replaced the torment.
Yeah.
Walk a straight line, though. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lesson there. It might have been a hard one, but the lesson is how
I don't think it was the wrong lesson.
Right.
No.
To this day, I think that was probably the best punishment that I could have ever gotten to get my attention and put me down the right path.
Boys are hard. I say that having some of my own.
Girls are harder, trust me.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Girls are harder in a different way.
Yes.
Boys will push you in ways.
Well, I can understand
that you understand it, right?
Right.
I don't understand the girls. I don't understand the girls, and they frustrate me.
If anyone ever tells me they understand them, then they need to meet your father and his belt.
Because it's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yeah, I don't think. Who was it that said? I wish I could give credit. There's a fairly famous quote out there that women aren't meant to be understood; they're meant to be loved. Fairly accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the silent lessons? Kind of those leading by examples. Dads teach you anything without ever saying a word?
Can't count those.
Anything that really stands out? Kind of the virtuous ones? The Masonic life?
I guess it's a story. He never said anything to me. I had a paper route when I was 9 years old. You know, the kid that was carrying probably the worst part of town quit, and so they figured they'd give it to the 9-year-old because nobody else would take it. And I had a customer who hadn't paid for like 7 weeks. And, if you've ever been a paper kid, you understand that you buy your papers and then you get paid by your customers, and then you pay your bill and you get what's left. And this customer hadn't paid me for like 7 weeks. And my dad said, "Come on." And we went up to that door and he had a talk with them. They paid me. But that was my dad standing up for me.
Yep.
And showing me, this is what you got to do. As a kid, you go up to these adults and say, "You owe me." But, my dad says, "No, you owe this, you got the papers. You have to pay for it." And he was teaching me how to interact in a responsible way and still get my point across. It was a good lesson.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
I've actually been on some truck rides with you, similar to that when you first started the business.
Some of them weren't quite that nice.
But that's probably why I was in the truck. Anything from Grandpa?
He was just constantly keeping after us to make sure that you tell somebody you're going to do something, you keep your word. Your word is your word is your bond. Your bond is you. And you will never be anything but your bond.
I don't know this, but one of the questions I had prepared was, what lessons shaped you the most? And my guess is it's probably that one for you.
I have been known to do very large deals on a handshake and look at somebody in the eye and worry about the paperwork later. And it's bit me a couple times.
But not because you balked on it.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've finished jobs that I've had to cash in retirements in order to finish because of mistakes that's been done by me or my people. And it hurts. It takes years to get over, but you don't leave something undone that you said you would do ever.
Yeah. I figured as soon as you said that would be your answer. That's the one that shaped you the most. Jim?
It's a lot along the same lines. And Chris will vouch for this. There were very few things that I ever promised him. Because if I tell you it's going to happen, then it's going to happen. And so, and that's what I would always tell him. If I promise you, it'll happen. And I didn't do it that often because, hey, we're going to try to go someplace, but I can't promise you. But I got that from my dad in terms of if he told me something, I knew I could trust it. And I always tried to be that way with my kids. So
it's actually something I do as well with mine. I've unfortunately uttered the wrong words before and had the weather go a different direction and disappoint. And that's something you learn as a dad only once. Yes. So yeah, I'm a little bit more careful with how I phrase those commitments because of it. But no, I that's a good one.
I think this kind of all rolls together too with this question is, what role do fathers play in the transition from boyhood to manhood? And do you see connections between being a good father and being a good brother in the lodge?
If you're not a good brother in the lodge, you'll never be a good father. I don't believe you can be.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. In the lodge, your word is your bond. In the lodge, these are your brothers. This is a family. And I don't think you can be a bad brother and be a good father. And vice versa. I don't think you can be a bad father and be a good brother.
I have never seen that. I've seen bad parents be Masons, but I don't know how they were that in lodge because I wasn't a Mason at the time.
Right.
And so I can't speak to that. But I agree the sentiment is correct.
Yeah.
In my brain, I can't see it any other way.
Yeah, Chris will know I'm a person of absolutes. I'm a very black and white person, and I just don't see how you can do it. I don't.
The little bit of pushback I would offer is only that people can be two-faced. That is unfortunately a reality.
It's true.
So you might have a different person at home than appears in the lodge. But if somebody's being true to themselves, I would tend to agree with you, gents, because this is a volunteer organization.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't live this life you can't live a lie and be active here. You can be a visitor. You can be someone who shows occasionally and get away with it, but you are not going to come in here and take a job where you have to be here every day and be dependent upon and not have that show up.
I want that to be true, but their history's full of anecdotes of people showing up to loved ones' funerals and finding out they have a half family from 2 states over. So that's, again, I'm not trying to be pedantic or be difficult.
But does that make them a good brother then?
Well, no.
You know what I'm saying?
They're likely being dishonest.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of where they go.
Yeah,
so I think that's kind of to their point, though, too, is that to be a good brother, you do have to have this. They're kind of one and the same. They really are.
It's the same qualities.
100%.
Same qualities. It's the same character.
Well, fatherhood to me, at least, is it's on a little bit higher of a pedestal because this is a volunteer organization, but and not that we don't play a very important part in it, but it's the responsibility at home for the kids is very different. That is integral, right? Like that's
the priorities are different.
Yeah. Yep. But I agree. The qualities themselves, tons of overlap.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think with that too, as you think about, as you've raised, obviously both of you have raised a boy, at least one. What lessons can Freemasonry teach about that journey from youth to mature adulthood that maybe you unconsciously even used as you were raising us two hellraisers over here?
I would say my journey was probably a little bit rougher around the edges than you can imagine raising him.
Oh, I don't know. I can imagine myself, and I think him and I are pretty similar.
No, it's he went with me on things that he probably shouldn't have gone. His first camping trip, it was 8 degrees on the 3rd of March and 6 inches of snow. And
how old was I for that?
8.
I was going to say it was under 10.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I made a very strong argument that I thought was based in fact that I should in fact not take off clothes in order to put on thermal underwear, because if I took off clothes, I would be colder.
It's fair.
I lost that argument and also learned something.
He was freezing, and I said, "You got to take your clothes off to put the thermal underwear on." No.
I was a very eloquent 8-year-old.
This sounds so familiar.
We were tent camping with virtually no heat. There's no way that was a responsible thing for me to do, but that's what I was doing.
The mummy bag was great. I slept fine.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. It was
once you got in the long underwear.
Right. I had to lose that fight first.
There were times I swore between Chris and I, one of us was not going to survive. But I'll tell you, he's grown into a great man. He really has. I'm proud of him.
Oh, geez. If anybody can see, I am colorblind, but I'm probably as red as that Solo cup over there. So,
no, you got a purple cast.
It's the hat.
Yeah,
it probably is. Boy, that threw me off just a second there. So, yeah, I following up with that too, I think, history proves that, again, our ritual has been integral as a part of human society and development of, thousands of generations. Minus that, particularly towards the rites of passage, does Masonry preserve something about manhood that, modern society is maybe cast to the wayside?
Yeah, brotherhood. I mean, our rituals preserve our brotherhood at a time where society's trying to remove any semblance of
masculinity,
of masculinity or positive male models, role models. Masonry teaches that. I mean, it just does. And, to be a good Mason, you have to be a good man. And then to be a good father, you have to teach your kids, your son, to be a good man. And I always told him he didn't come with an instruction manual.
We had to learn by trial and error.
We did.
Yeah, that's still happening. I just want to go on record.
Yeah.
Mine didn't come with one either.
Yeah.
The newer models, no.
I get a few phone calls once in a while.
Yeah, it's more difficult than building IKEA furniture.
Yes.
And since my grandson is 7 years old, the previous story when you were 8 years old, can you imagine Connor being on that trip in 1 year?
God. Yeah, I'm trying to actually take him primitive camping this summer. I don't think I'm going to do it over the winter months because I don't know that I have the patience yet.
The funny thing is, hearing that story,
I didn't have patience. I had beer.
Hearing that story, I think your 3-year-old would probably survive.
Oh, he's the best among us.
Yeah, he could.
He'll club something to death and eat it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If there's something left over in the garbage, you'll grab it. It's not a problem.
Absolutely fearless. Absolutely fearless to a fault.
But no, I think that's what Masonry teaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that in all walks of life and being raised, but it's reinforced here.
Yes.
In this lodge. Not only that, it's brotherly love.
Yeah.
It's the relief.
Well, and truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all those things bundled up.
From a purely ritual standpoint, and maybe I'm reading into it too much, but, as Chris alluded to, we've got thousands of generations before us, right? And for the largest part of human history, we were tribal. And there were rites of passage. There was quite literally a moment when you were a child, you would go through some type of trial or tribulation, and you were a man, period, right?
Right.
We don't have that. Specifically in this country, it's very difficult.
Well, that's probably the last ones to do that were probably Native Americans.
But here, on the North American continent, of course.
Yeah. The closest we come is getting your driver's license.
Yeah.
I will never forget the first day Chris had his driver's license. He was a swimmer. So, 5:30 in the morning practices, and I'm having to take him. The first day he has his driver's license, he drives to practice by himself, and I didn't have to get up.
Well, that was twofold.
Yes. That was a rite of passage for both of us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I guess my point with the arrival though was we tend to, it comes in like increments.
Yeah.
You don't have as a man, you don't have a moment, right?
No.
16, you're driving. 18, you're legal, you can vote, but you can't do anything.
You can join the army.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't have a drink with friends. I
You used to be able to buy a pack of smoke.
I think, yeah.
When I was
say,
18, you could.
Yeah.
Right. You could buy 3-2 beer.
Right.
Not now.
Right.
And I think cigarettes even are off the table.
It's 21 now, I think, in Ohio at least.
Renting a car.
That's
25. And now with the government being involved in absolutely everything, your own health insurance isn't even until 26.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what I think is interesting about Masonry, knowing what every man has gone through, from a age of maturity perspective, is that you come in, you get your apprentice degree, and you're a brother.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You come in, you get your Master Mason degree, and the whole lodge is open to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's very short. It's more of that rite of passage, if you will, than it is kind of tapered and just kind of metered out piece by piece to you. I don't know.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, along with that, it's the whole death and rebirth situation is that's the oldest story that ever was.
Yeah.
And even your old thoughts have to die before the new ones can replace them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you change the way you think, I mean, it's death and rebirth. Death and rebirth.
I think one of the things the lodge teaches us too is that we're all equals in the lodge. You can be, as rich as Elon Musk. You walk into lodge, you're just a brother.
Yeah.
I don't want to say just a brother, but you're just a brother.
There's a levelness to that playing field that is not out there on a cultural.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the part that's so cool about walking into that lodge room is that other than the fact that the master holds the gavel and can stop the meeting at any time, everybody in there is equal.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't argue or break the rules, you can have your say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And everyone should listen to what you have to say. They may not agree, but you don't have to agree.
Right.
But you do have to listen.
And for the most part, all of the other qualities that we've talked about, what I like about it is I think you can look across the room at somebody that you're maybe having a spirited debate with and know that they want the same thing as you, which is the best thing for X, right? They just maybe have a different perspective on how to get there.
Right. And that's something we teach our kids.
Yep.
This is how you interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my wife and I have that same argument every day. I'm serious. I mean, I'm a very logical person. I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
She's very artsy. She's an artist, and she will randomly just wander over to a point and do something, and then wander somewhere else and do something else. We usually end up at the same place, do we not, Matthew?
Yeah.
But I have to get there and then wait on her because she's still meandering off in the weeds somewhere before she decides to come on over to the point where she was actually ultimately going to get there anyway.
And sometimes they go straight from 1 to 10.
And then back
and they
to
look
3.
At you, like, why aren't you here yet?
Yeah. I think every man who listens to this is going to relate in some way. I'm going to go, yeah.
But we discussed this, and we're in agreement. That's the way it works.
Uh-huh.
As long as everybody's expectations are where they need to be, there's probably not a problem.
As long as we can get to a point where we agree, it doesn't matter.
Right.
As we change gears a little bit, talking about, what, the lessons in manhood that Masonry have kind of taught, looking at the father parable in Freemasonry, really in your own words, describe, what do you see as the roles of and responsibilities of a good father? Has that and I guess has that question changed as you've gotten older? Or has that answer changed as you've gotten older, and how?
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, thanks.
It's easier to follow than me.
Yeah. It has changed so much. When you're first a dad, you really think, hey, you need to do this. You need to do this, And when they're little babies, they really have no choice. They do what you tell them, or, they do what you do with them and things like that. And as they get older, you just have to realize that you have to let them go a little bit. And as they get older, it becomes more. And as they prove themselves, it becomes more and more. And really, that's the way it is in the lodge, is that, the more you learn, the more you're willing to take on, the older you get in your Masonic walk, then you can start to do different things. And you just have to kind of let people do it, make their mistakes and learn and help them along the way. And, like with you, I saw the biggest growth in you when I would let you do things. And yeah, you didn't always do them right. And so we had to talk about that afterwards. And sometimes it was, oh boy, did he mess up. And sometimes it was, hey, that was really great. What could you have done better? Or, hey, that was really great. Do you mind if I can do that? Things like that. But as you got older, the hard part is letting go. And I think in a lodge, it's kind of that way. You hear about the old past master stories and, things like that there's a certain amount of letting go and letting people grow into what they do, and, letting your kids grow into what they do and becoming good, responsible, good decision makers, good kids, good adults.
It's interesting. I picked up a little bit on that with when we interviewed Worshipful Brother Art Sterling. And towards the end of that interview, when he said, "This isn't my lodge anymore. This is your lodge now."
Yes. And I'm trying to look at this through the lens of a man with younger kids. And
yeah. Because I'm the only one sitting at this table without kids. So yeah.
I'm trying to, I'm going to put something on a pedestal that I don't know that I always meet, right? But on a philosophical level, what I want to do is essentially give them enough of a leash, if you will, a leash that is as long as their maturity is.
Yes.
Right? So we talked about my feral 3-year-old, right? This is a kid that I have to hold his hand in a parking lot, right? Because he'll dart off.
And pee on something.
Possibly that. It is definitely that, seeing my dad shake his head. Yeah. Whereas with my 7-year-old, I can reason with him a little bit more. There's more maturity there. And I can say, look, I want you to stay close to me, right? And I want you to look both ways.
Yep.
I don't have to have actual physical contact with you anymore. You're capable of this.
Right.
Right. And that's, so I guess from a roles and responsibilities perspective, provider, protector, kind of almost teacher, if you will, though I don't know that I love that term.
Guide.
But guide is a good one. Thank you.
It is a teacher. And your kids will look at you and what you do as their biggest example.
It's not only a teacher, it's a mentor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our responsibility is to grow our kids up so that they can leave the house and be good functioning adults and be good people in the world. In the lodge, our responsibility is to grow those entered apprentices into good master masons who then can go out and do the
and
things
take over the functioning of the law.
And that actually comes full circle to what Chris was saying, because that was a hallmark moment for me, for somebody like Arthur Sterling to say, hey, this is your lodge now. That was big.
Well, and especially given how much he's put into this and still takes ownership of it, for him to say, this isn't my place anymore. Well, this is your place.
Well, he understands that the torch needs to be passed.
Yeah. Well, going back to my lead analogy, right? The leash, if you will.
Right.
That's a lot of rope.
Yeah.
Right.
That is a lot of rope. Or maybe no rope, which is just wild.
It just depends.
Well, and to come from him too. I mean, it was one of those moments where it's like, oh wow, this is real. He's like, you guys are now the old guys of the lodge. I mean, I can remember that. It was a very, what was the feeling that I don't even know what the feeling I had with that was.
Yeah.
It hit powerfully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just remember, you're trying to make that impression with your kids.
Well, and that reminds me of a time, first time I gave the Fellowcraft lecture in lodge, and I practiced for a year before I gave that lecture. And I thought, man, I nailed it. I bloody nailed it. And Arthur came up to me afterwards and he said, you missed this word here, you missed this word here. And I was so insulted and I was upset. And somebody else came up to me, far wiser than I, and said, did Art critique you? And I said, yes. And I started to say something derogatory. And he said, take it as a compliment. He said, take it as a compliment. And I said, what do you mean by that? Arthur thought you were that close to perfect that he could correct you and you could be perfect. Had it been far enough from the mark, he wouldn't have offered critique.
That's in line with his personality.
Yeah,
exactly. And I had never dealt with that before.
Yeah.
But it's, especially after a kind of a seminal moment like that, it would be hard to take that kind of criticism when you're that near it. Right?
Oh yeah.
I felt like I'd been kicked in the.
Well, but to have somebody reframe it though, right then and there.
Yeah, right there.
Exactly.
You didn't have to sit with that for any length of time.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. And I can't even remember who told me that, but I was glad that they offered that bit of information.
Yeah. And just remember, you get pushback in the lodge. That's okay. Yeah. You get pushback from your kids.
No, I never did that. I was a perfect angel.
No, you get pushback from your kids, and that's okay to a point. And it's same in the lodge until it crosses that line of being pushback versus I'm just being an idiot.
Yeah.
Same with your kids. Pushback versus I'm just being an idiot. Tell me why you feel that way, And I probably wasn't very good at that.
I definitely wasn't, because Matthew was born when I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, I got married in April. I bought a new truck in May. I bought a house in July, and he was born in September.
His blood pressure was 210 over 190.
And I mean, I went from footloose and fancy free to 2 mortgages, 2 car payments, and a child in 5 months. And, you don't have a chance to gradually grow up.
Yeah.
But I did it to myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes that trial by fire is good.
It's the only way I work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are there any lessons you've learned in your Masonic journey that you wish you would have known when, like, Matt and I were growing up?
Oh, lots and lots of them.
Absolutely.
Lots and lots. I can't put a finger on any of them right now, but I can tell you that there are lots.
Had I started Lodge when I first thought about it, I'd have been a better dad. There's no doubt about that.
I think my journey was a little different. I had to learn to be a dad before I could learn to be anything else.
Yeah. That's fair. It's the hardest job in the world.
Yeah. Is there anything about the manner of delivery, right? So Masonic ritual, we put a lot of lessons in our lectures and charges. Well, more lectures so than charges.
Yeah.
Is there anything that fathers can leverage from that kind of teaching, that manner of teaching, for those more, I guess, hallmark life lessons, if you will? Power of allegory, for instance.
I think it's the lesson of learning to think things through before you do something. Yeah. I mean, how many times as a dad, it's like, no, do this. And did they learn anything? Yeah, they learned that dad told me to do it this way. Instead of teaching them.
Here again, that's where giving them the rope to make mistakes.
Yeah.
As I do with my employees on a daily basis. I mean, they make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And, that's part of growth. Without mistakes, we don't learn as human beings.
Yep.
And, you have to feel the waters before you actually grow and learn as a person. And you have to be tolerant of that to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to also have some reality checkpoints to hold everything from the crumble point where everything just comes crumbling down.
So you both raised boys and girls.
Yes.
Have you found any distinction? Like, because what you just said was very poignant, right? Like that was, but in my mind, and I'm trying to, the benefit of hindsight, watching my younger sisters grow up, I'm wondering how much of that was more true for boys or more true for girls versus the other sex.
For me, you were easy to raise because I understood your thought patterns and the way that you grew up because I grew up.
Yeah.
The girls were different. They think differently. They have different priorities. They have different things that they do. But if you can remember.
And the reason I'm asking is very, very specifically around the mistakes, right? Because a boy mistake is very different from a girl mistake.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
Is.
They are, but you have to watch and see what mistakes you allow them to make.
Right. And the consequences are the same, whether the mistakes are different or not.
I'm thinking of this through the lens of boys are oftentimes a little bit more of a risk taker. They're the bodily injury kind of thing. You know what I mean?
We're dumber.
Yes. Yeah.
No, not dumber, more adventurous.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I mean. Like there's comparing 5-year-olds, right? You're going to have incredibly different scenarios of what constitutes a mistake. Right. There's coloring on the wall, and then there's, hey, I'm upside down and there's a knife in my mouth kind of thing. Right. Between boys and girls.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, with Chris, you really had to correct him. Boys are going to do it because they're just going to. And
girls are going to do it, but they're going to sneak.
Yeah. and the difference is it's going to take a lot to make the boy understand that that's not acceptable. And at least I found with my daughter, if I looked at her cross, she'd break down crying. She'd never do it again.
Can I trade?
I actually thought that might be coming. There was going to definitely be a quip at the end of that.
But I mean, that's the way I found it. And so the way I disciplined them was very different. And in ways, neither one of them thought it was fair.
But it's responsive to the personality.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the only way it can be. Right?
Of course. Well, I mean, if you want it to stick. Yeah.
I still don't think it's fair.
I didn't think you would. But no, I think coming back to the Masonry part, I think Masonry teaches us how to teach moral lessons. Because we're taught those moral lessons in ways that we wouldn't have thought of before, but are very powerful.
That's true.
And if we had learned those things earlier, we could have maybe used those with our kids.
Agreed. I still think I would struggle with the girls.
I struggled with a girl. I won't say I didn't. Disciplining her was easier. Understanding her was much harder.
Yeah, my oldest daughter, I would say, do you know who Francis Mule is?
He's not wrong.
And the other two, they were challenges, but they were not the challenge that she was. I can remember her coming home from school, getting off the bus, and your mom and I were splitting up at the time, and I got a phone call. Your daughter got in trouble on a school bus and she's going to get kicked off. And she was still on the bus. And I called the house just about the time she walked in from the bus. I said, "What the hell did you do?" She said, "Nobody knows about that yet."
I found your mole later in life, by the way. I found your mole. But that's neither here nor there.
On that front.
Yeah, that's fair on that front.
But I got a phone call that happened from somebody that was on that bus. So, and she had no idea. So, that was an eye-opening experience for her that, oh my God, he's got it wired.
Yeah. There were times I can remember where I would go to my wife afterwards with my daughter and say, "What did I say? What did I do? I don't know. What did I do?" Now with Chris, I would go to my wife and say, "You've got to let me do this."
Yeah.
And it was just so different. But I still think that going back, we can learn to teach our kids better.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But I can tell you that I'm not sure how much of a lesson I would have needed to help that.
He's not wrong. I mean, she's an adult now. I love her to death, but I have memories, right? There are bighorn sheep that have thinner skulls than her.
and she's tough.
Yeah.
She was in a and I hate telling stories about her on a podcast, but I'm going to tell it anyway. She was not supposed to be up moving around in the house at night. And if she got up, she was supposed to come to her mother in my room and let us know that she was up and moving around. And I heard something moving in the house. And I listened and I couldn't hear anything. And I grabbed my gun and I went looking for the noise. I went to her room and her sister was in her bed and she was not. And then I panicked. Where is she? And I heard something in the closet. And I opened the door and there she stood. I said, "What are you doing?" I knew I wasn't supposed to be up, so I hid.
This is 8 feet from her bed. She could have just gotten back in bed. Yeah. She's also not always the smartest.
And I was like, holy crap, you could have got shot. Why did you do that? Because I thought somebody had taken you. And so we sat down and had a long talk over that one. You know, but it was like, holy crap.
She.
But while she was up, she had stepped on a piece of glass, that she had broken a piece of glass. 2 months later, she said, "Dad, my foot hurts." And I looked at her foot. She had a little red bump there on the side. It was a pretty good size. So I took my knife out and I cut it open. And she's tough, like I said. And there was this white speck in there. And I got a pair of tweezers and tweezers wouldn't fit over it. So I kind of pried it up and I took a piece of white glass out of her side of her foot that was probably that big. And she'd walked on it for 2 months because she was doing stuff she wasn't supposed to do whenever she got it.
Taking it to the grave. That's, I mean, I'd like to think that she's 1 in a million on that front, but yeah.
There's probably plenty of strong-willed children out there like that.
We used to say that if you opened the dictionary, or Dr. Dobson's book, The Strong-Willed Child, your picture would be in there. Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You can see that a little bit, yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
No.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I've gotten wiser in my old age.
You've mellowed.
Little wisdom never hurt anybody. It's a good thing.
Well, the beer helped when I got older, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing that, at least like in our lodge alone, there are three of our brothers that have sons under, the age of 1. And, what do those boys need to hear from their fathers, thinking about like the morals or the virtues of Freemasonry and those critical components of fatherhood? What do they need to hear? And what do they need to be passing on to those sons?
Just that.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. Every righteous virtue that you have learned in Masonry, find a way to put that into their life.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'll tell you, a brother is a brother no matter what. My child, I love you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need to hear.
I don't know that I have anything to add to that.
I don't have anything to add to that. I'm trying to process that a little bit because I think that's...
I'm thinking about it from like the Masonic virtues, which mirror the cardinal virtues.
Yeah.
And that's not something that is necessarily taught. That's something that is absorbed. Like that's something that you've kind of got to put out there for them to model as opposed to teach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you model it, but you reinforce with allegory and with lessons.
And just with plain action.
Yeah.
And if they're wrong, demonstrate the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of that to go around.
I've got enough of that in spades. So,
but try to do it in a loving and gentle manner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get the
just
point
like you deal
across.
with a brother.
Yeah.
At least for me, when the danger has passed, if that's what's kind of precipitated it, right? We'll go back to the youngest in a parking lot running off, we'll say, right? Like I'm going to respond fairly aggressively, mostly in fear, right? But
that's not where the lesson is learned.
That's what I mean.
Right.
But when that has passed, right? When the danger has passed and the adrenaline is down and it's less like immediate, that's when the conversation starts. Like, hey, you just almost ran out into traffic, right?
Well,
do you understand?
You have the example, and you have the, what could happen, what could have happened,
Right.
and you don't want to do that, and this is why, and
hey, well, daddy gave you a good yank because you were, you were literally running into the road. Like that's why, yeah. So, yeah, that's.
There's a lot in that.
Yeah. It's the modeling thing that kind of went to my head, especially with the virtuous stuff, like the virtues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you can't expect your kids to be something you aren't.
No.
Well, and they can't.
Just saying.
Yeah.
They can't understand a concept that they've never been introduced to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you've never been exposed to something, how are you expected to learn it?
Well, no, and yeah, I don't want to come off like I'm being judgmental here, but I understand it's often coming from a place of ignorance.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I haven't fallen off of a high thing. I didn't know I shouldn't be up there. Right.
I never did that. Did you?
Oh, God.
I'm just,
yeah.
Facetious.
Okay. Thank God. I was going to say, do you know how many garbage bags I thought were good parachutes? That was a
lot.
Yeah, that was a lesson I had to learn several times.
Or four-wheelers into a trailer.
Yeah.
I only ran my bike into a tree once before I learned a helmet was a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a quick one.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick one. That tree still has a dent.
I don't know if that's true or not, but
So you only ran off the road once when you were learning
to ride a bike or drive a car?
Ride a bike. To my knowledge, you never rode off the road in a car, but that's just to my knowledge, and I can neither confirm nor deny anything else. So
I got nothing.
Fair.
We'll keep it at that. Yeah.
We're not even going to get down the van path.
Look, I have slid on ice before, but that's by no means. I've been in the passenger seat when things were going sideways. So
literally or figuratively?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, hey, I don't think we're supposed to be in this cornfield.
With my van.
No, not with any vehicle of yours or mine. I was in the passenger seat. I repeat.
Boy, I think this next one's yours.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a good one for you.
So this was pre-planned, right? Less conversational, more pre-planned question. But I'm curious, how did it feel to see your son take the same obligation you once took?
Pride. Also, it's a very real experience that it's hard to describe how emotional it is and yet rewarding.
Any one stand out in particular? I have a feeling I know the answer to that question, but I'm curious.
The first.
The first, really? Okay. That would not have been where I put my money.
The first is the one that breaks the ice.
Yeah. I just know that you gave me my Master Mason obligation.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that was going to be the one that stood out the most.
It does, but the first I got to watch closely, and I just didn't know that we'd get to that point.
Okay.
Because you weren't living here at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
That's interesting. Oh, are you gonna ask me now?
No, I mean, yeah, that was kind of my plan.
the reverse on that.
Yeah, it's the reverse for you guys.
Yeah, because I mean, and I've talked about that quite a bit on the podcast before. Is that our situation with my dad and I is different, where usually it's sons follow their fathers, but father followed son on this one, and I will echo a lot of what Steve said, is that there's a lot of pride, there's a lot of emotion, there was a lot of, gosh, I'm struggling to put a word to it.
As I did.
Yeah. There's a lot. You can't describe it.
No, it's indescribable.
You're seeing something that, and especially for us, you're seeing something that doesn't get seen very often.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were a participant as well, weren't you?
I was. I actually was the one that got to raise him in his Master Mason degree. So
as did I.
Yeah. So you got to raise Matt. I got to raise, my dad. And number one, there's something about raising another, anyone that's almost indescribable. But then your own, I guess flesh and blood, for lack of a better word, is. I'm struggling for the word. Maybe you've got it, Steve. I don't know.
Well, it's the want to let them have the opportunities that have been presented to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's opening that door for them. It's the connection that you feel, right? Because again, whenever you have that connection of raising somebody, that's a connection that you never,
as Mark Craig says, brother daddy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Very West Virginia.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know exactly what he's talking about in that, is that there is this special connection formed when you raise a brother in Freemasonry. Now.
And that's especially special when it is a father, a son,
exactly.
A biological brother.
Yes.
Someone that you're very close to already.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going, is that there is something that's even deeper, that, again, almost a primal thing where you feel that, and it's an indescribable feeling to have that. And that to me is where, again, I can't describe what it feels like.
Well, it's actually a decent segue into another question that I had planned, right? Because what we're describing, or trying to at least, is almost a want for somebody to attain something or to feel something that we've felt ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's really goes back to what I said earlier. Something must die before it can be reborn. And that's part of the reborning process of coming from a non-member, a non-Mason, to becoming a Mason, and the knowledge being open to you, and to be that gateway is more special.
It's part of an identity for sure, right?
Yes.
And if you're going to walk a virtuous path, there might be things that you need to leave behind. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, perfect segue, because it's out, what we're thinking is almost wanting something for somebody, right? And it almost feels to me like that. I don't know that any one person can give that to another. It's something that they kind of have to find for themselves. So,
but you got to be the gateway.
Right.
Right.
But what is it about Masonry, I guess, that kind of does that? Is there something about Masonry in particular that you wanted, maybe for me, right, that you didn't think that you alone could do? That you needed the assistance of the brotherhood, you needed the allegory, you needed the story. Is there a way to pinpoint that thing? Does that make sense?
For me, it was the reinforcement of all of the moral aptitudes that I tried to teach you my whole life. And having a network of brothers who felt that same moral aptitude that could help you stay on that path and become more virtuous.
Part of the culture.
Yeah.
Part of the culture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And with that, make your life better.
Yeah.
And your kids' lives better.
Yeah. I like that.
God willing.
I'd say for me, it was a little different, but a lot the same. You know, even though we have the reverse situation here, it's the realization that my son has realized a lot of those qualities.
Yes.
And then as I go on and I learn more to understand the qualities that he has learned, there's a lot of pride in that. And, you know, it's not pride in myself.
No, it's pride in what he has accepted and learned.
Exactly. And so, you know, even though it was reversed for me, there's that certain amount of, you know, the swelling of the chest.
Yeah.
My son has done these things, and that's what I always wanted. You know, so.
And now everybody's looking at me to say something profound, but I was actually going to tell a story just thinking about, you know, all of this. You know, I will never forget coming home from his Master Mason degree, because I actually got to play a role as well as not just raising him. I got to play, and for all the Masons out there, I got to play first base at his degree. And you know, we go through it. You know, I put a little Ohio in the Indiana there because I had memorized it in Ohio, and I was like, that's close enough.
I had no idea.
He had no idea, so it was fine. But I apologized ahead of time. I was like, you're going to get a little Ohio in your Indiana. And they were like, that's fine. But anyway, we're driving home, and, you know, we're talking about it and stuff like that. And I go, well, you know, I was like, when I grabbed you at first base, he goes, wait a minute. That was you? I was like, yeah, you didn't recognize my voice or anything like that. He's like, no, I guess I was just so caught up in everything that
he was utterly petrified.
Your situation is so out of the norm and so out of what you expected.
Well, not only that, but we do enough of the same things to give you a slight sense of complacency for that third degree. And then we're like, just kidding.
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget. It was hilarious. I'm like, wait, no, are you serious? You didn't know that was me?
Yeah. I mean, I really didn't, because again, you are so out of sorts at that point.
Well, it's out of the norm, right? You don't have a wide base of knowledge, but you've now been through your apprentice and fellow craft. You've been the first part of the Master Mason, and you're like, okay, I kind of know what I'm in store for. And then you're like, oh wait, no, I have no idea. This is
not
different.
only that, it just grabs you up.
It
literally grabs you up and swallows you up. You just don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Funny story. One of my best friends from work actually came when I was raised, as well as my son. And they were talking, because we do dinner between sections. And they were talking at dinner. They said, do you think he has any idea what's coming? No.
True.
They did ask me if he had any health conditions, and I was like, nah, he's good. Give it to him.
Oh, and I'm telling you, they did. Thanks, Jeff.
It's the only appropriate way. It's a rite of passage. It's fine.
I guess kind of, I don't want to say going back to the seriousness of what we were talking about, but, you know, I guess this one's for you, you know, Dad, and for Steve too. But, you know, especially you coming to it a little bit later, did, you know, even with grown children, did becoming a Mason make you a better father? And, you know, if so, how did that, you know, how do you think that happened, or what do you think you gained?
I'm going to qualify it, and I'm going to say I'd like to think it did, because I'm probably not the best judge of that. The best judge of that would be you and your sister and my grandson, Grayson. But I'd like to think it did. I think I'm a lot more understanding. I think I'm a lot of those qualities that we as Masons learn. And I think it reinforced some of the things that I did always try to teach, but in a much different way. And it's taught me to express some of those things differently. So I'm going to give you a qualified, I sure hope so.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We're all our own worst critic.
Yeah.
We're also all our own worst judge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then I guess, for Steve too, did becoming a Mason make you a better father as you were going through it too?
You have to remember that Matthew was probably 24, 25 when I became a Mason.
Hold on, math.
I was 48.
And that would have made me 26.
26.
The heavy lifting's done at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He was on his own.
Yeah.
And the girls were pretty much on their own, and everybody was I was done raising children at that point. It was in the point where you go back and try to correct some of the mistakes you made getting them to this point. And but I would say it reinforced everything that I needed to do to try to right any wrongs that I had done during the raising. But I think that there's no doubt that anytime you put moral virtues into your life, that it can't help but make everything about your life better.
Absolutely.
And look, I'm trying to look into the future, right? I do remember what I was like in my mid-20s. I was certainly more likely to listen than I was a decade earlier, right?
Absolutely.
My ears were a little bit more open and my opinions were a little bit more muted, right? And at that point, I think I was in a better place to kind of receive wisdom when it was offered. And I'm hoping the same is true for my
Well,
children.
a decade earlier, I fired you.
Rightfully fired me. But in seriousness, my point is, like, I think that's actually a really good time because it's not that you weren't offering earlier, and I mean the collective you, right? Dads generally. You're always offering what you can, the life lessons, the wisdom on all of those things, but just like you can't help anybody who's not ready to receive help, you can't teach somebody who's not ready to be taught, right? So I think that was actually a good time for that transition to happen because as you're learning these things, your kids are in a position to better receive them too when they're offered.
And that's exactly what happened.
If my sons are listening to this in 20 years, your dad's not as dumb as you think he is.
I've always said that, when your kids hit about 16, you're the dumbest person in the world.
Yeah.
And that lasts until they're about 20, 21, 22, and then you start getting a little smarter.
Actually, he did a little better than that. I fired him at 16. And about 18 months later, he came back and he said, "Dad, you had every right to fire me. I have done every crap job in the world since you let me go. Is there any way that you can see clear to put me back on as an employee?" I said, "Would you like to start Monday?"
Even then, I had grown up to do, and I know that.
No,
but that was very big of you.
That was a huge step.
That was a big step. Yeah. That was definitely a big step.
And we never had another problem.
No. Pain and bad decisions will do that to you. That is so good. Why are you so dumb? Teenage years. It's actually a really good segue, though. We've been peppering you guys with questions, right? And it's getting late, so maybe we can keep the embarrassing stories to a minimum. But is there anything that you guys
I know this is going to get dangerous.
It is dangerous, right? Let's turn the table.
Turn the tables a little bit.
What could we have done differently as parents that would have made things better? I'm serious. Don't blow it off. That would have made things better, because this is information that you can take.
And anybody listening.
And anybody listening and say, okay, is this something, that I'm doing? Is this something that I can modify my behavior and actually?
I don't know. This is a tough one.
So
Well,
there's a lot of qualifiers to this, right? Because it's not that
there's
don't
always
have
qualifiers.
It's not that I don't have advice. It's that I think two things can be true at once, right? Like I just talked about how important it is that somebody be ready and willing to receive sage advice when it's offered. That's not something that you can change. Similarly, I think nobody's going to be perfect every day. That's just a hard reality. And if somebody is maybe having a breakthrough moment and at that point in time ready and willing to listen, but the conversation is escalated to a point where it's kind of like beyond reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? Pulling back from that brink. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you're not always going to be able to do that. This is a very situational based thing. And I frankly don't have like an actual example that I can provide. I just know even in my short time as a father, it's like, why are we having this conversation again?
Yeah.
Right. But
we're having that conversation because they have not reached the point where they're willing to learn that.
Right. Exactly. And my hope is that I'm able to let's say that I'm just angry because it's the 17th time I've had that conversation on a Tuesday, right? Let's say that there's that moment of clarity in their eye where I want to be able to forget that it's the 17th time and lower my tone and like have that conversation to where it maybe sinks in a couple weeks earlier or something.
Yeah.
But that's, hoping for perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, everybody's looking at me for that answer now. I think, I'm echoing a lot of what you say because again, I think there's a lot of context, to both of your points. We don't come with instruction manuals, right? We didn't come with instruction manuals. We didn't come with a resource guide. We came with...
There's not even a FAQ.
Yeah, there's not even a frequently asked questions. We came with a large bill, right? We came with a large bill attached from the hospital. So we were causing,
and a constant need for diapers.
Yeah. So, we were causing the financial hole, the financials right from the get-go. I think, and again, I don't know, again, it's not like what would you have changed? I think it's just, we had to be ready to receive the message. And
big thumbs up for me.
That comes with the maturing process and the
patience on the other end.
The patience on the other end. And to your point, Matt, talking about, telling somebody for the 17th time on a Tuesday, don't do this or do that. For me, I think it's just, for me, I look at the gratitude of saying, okay, yeah, you didn't send me to military school for, even though the threat was there many times to go to military school.
I had him enrolled once.
A few times. But
I already got paperwork filled out for my 3-year-old.
But I
waiting on a check.
It's for me, I would say that thing is, have the patience. They're going to get it at some time, at some point. They may be the most strong-willed, the most thick-headed, the most stubborn person that you're going to meet, but they're also figuring things out.
Yep.
And we were figuring things out. We were figuring out
very slowly.
Very slowly we were figuring things out, but we were figuring out life, right? As that, I'm not going to try to get too sciencey, but as the prefrontal cortex starts to develop, and it develops pretty slow.
If you don't die before it does, you'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. But again, that for us, that it was developing, and we didn't see the advice. We're just like, oh, Dad's being a jerk again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also, it's so weird being a kid because you have like virtually no life experience.
But you think you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You think
so the tools in your toolbox are very, very limited.
You've got a rusty screwdriver and like half of a socket set with no wrench.
It's like Jordan Peterson says, you have to live it virtually, otherwise you will die.
Well, and well, not only that, but I mean, you can't forecast your life very far. I mean, you're looking out 2 weeks, whereas
2 weeks.
Well, I mean, as a kid,
2 weeks.
well, right. Whereas your parents are like, yeah, if you do that dumb thing that you're thinking about doing that you don't fully understand the consequences of, you're not going to college,
Right.
right? And you're like, but it sounds fun. It's going to be an awesome story on Monday, and you're like, yeah, well, your future is also Tuesday and beyond. Like, so
That's a good one. What other questions do you guys have for us? It's table turning time.
Oh boy, I mean that's really the main question I would have. What could I have done different?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I wasn't a perfect parent. I mean, far from it. But it just goes back to, I think patience is so important, and something I had so little of when you were younger. But
well, and I earned some of that too.
yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
There's no doubt about that. This is a kid who was strong-willed enough for something to do. We gave him a bucket of water and a brush and told him to scrub the concrete, right? The next thing we look over there are no bristles left on this brush. He has brushed them off. This is how strong-willed this child is.
Low quality tools.
But high quality arms. Look at that.
Yeah. So, it's being able to read the room is a lot of it, and understanding when patience could have helped and when it was just beyond patience, and okay, you really do just need to do what I say.
And getting grounded many times when I said no.
You did get grounded once or twice.
A week.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it seems very, very low. It seems like a very low number.
No, yeah. I mean, these are good questions. Again, I'm hoping for a few more, and they can really be about anything.
I got one for you.
Oh, Lord.
What do you see that your dad did that you would change for your kids?
Oh, what did I see that Dad did that I would change for my kids? Wow, this feels so judgmental. The science is in on tobacco use. That's something I would change for you too. But it's definitely something I don't want to see.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fair answer.
Yeah. I think it is.
That's a very fair answer because, again, you want to be there for them. You want them to be there.
Yeah, somebody's got to earn enough money to get me in a good home. So
I don't plan on going to a good one. I already told him he's going to end up on one of those that you see on 60 Minutes. So.
Yeah.
Brotherly love, relief, and truth in one sentence right there.
I quit when you were 35.
That's what I said. It feels judgmental. I'm not trying to be mean, but I wouldn't want it for them.
No, that was something I needed to do anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I ask you that question because obviously Chris doesn't have kids, so I can't ask him that.
Yeah. I think Dad did a good job. I mean, if that's pretty low hanging fruit.
Well,
right?
I'll guarantee you, I made my share of mistakes and then some. But I can tell you that I've been very blessed and fortunate that all of my children have turned out very well and become productive members of society. And I am so blessed. My wife and I are so blessed to have that happen for us. We got great grandkids, not great grandkids, but
fantastic grandkids.
Fantastic grandkids.
we have several years, God willing, before that becomes a concern.
But that is, and we're blessed to have them all very close.
Yeah.
Just like last week, Connor had a ball game, and my wife and I went. We didn't talk to anybody, tell anybody we were going to go. My ex-wife was there. Both my daughters showed up with their kid. One of them has children, and she brought him. And
we filled the bleachers.
Yeah. And we didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew that the others were coming, and we just all showed up.
Yeah.
I always think it's cool when Grandpa can come too, because there's 4 generations of men there.
Yeah.
And we do that. That's always sweet.
Yeah, he had a ball the other night.
Yeah.
And I'll have to echo that. It's seeing your kids grow up to be good people that, everyone genuinely would like to know. And, it's golly, I'd love to take credit for that, but I really can't,
Well, none of us can, right?
Right.
It's part of life. It's part of their struggle. It's part of their journey. And well, we may be able to get them out the starting gate and kind of push them into one direction.
Yep.
Ultimately, that journey is theirs.
That's right.
And, when the wheels fall off and they fall down, then we got to go pick them up and get them started again.
Yep.
But other than that, there really isn't a hell of a lot we can do about it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
As much as we'd like to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes the right answer is, I can't.
Well, and here again, you come back to today, you've got a whole generation of kids that somebody held them by the hand after they put them in the starting block and carried them to the next point. And they're unable to function in society today.
Right.
And you need to have the wheels come off. Yeah. You need to be able to get out there on your own and get those bumps and bruises and some of that
grit.
Well, and kids are cruel.
Yes.
They can be.
Yeah.
And but you need some of that to develop into your potential.
Right.
If you don't get that, you don't get any pushback. You don't get any pushback. You don't know how to handle pushback.
Right.
I can protect you to the point that I can kill you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're basically smothering them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've stunted their growth as a human being and taken them out of society and made them unfunctional.
Right.
Iron has to be hammered sometimes to be turned into a knife.
At least with my
Tested
kids.
by fire.
Iron sharpens iron.
That too.
I use the guardrail approach, right? And it's just a single lane for the kids is kind of how I see it. I'm not worried about oncoming traffic. I want you to be able to brush up against the guardrail, right? And learn something. I'm not going to let you go over it. I'm not going to let you land in the ditch, but I'm going to let you brush the guardrail. That's kind of my approach.
And that lane gets wider as they grow in wisdom. Yeah.
That's the hope. We'll see.
Well, and I've seen a difference in them in growth just this year from last year.
Yeah.
I mean, about 3-4 weeks ago, we dug out your patio.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that saga.
Yeah.
But the good part is I pulled the bobcat into the backyard. I put the kids over there and I said, you see this? Stay away from it. It's going to be moving and I can't see you.
Yeah.
And you see those wheels? They're tracks. They will crush you and you will be flat as a pancake and you will not be living anymore. So you stay away from there. When I get in the bobcat and it starts, you go sit over there and you stay over there.
Yeah.
And they did all day long.
Wow.
A year ago, one of them would have been like, hey, is there snacks in the cab?
The 3-year-old?
Can I come up there?
The 3-year-old, right?
And he probably would have just been eating
I was going to say,
something.
Probably went up there driving.
I could have almost heard the 3-year-old going, "Cool, a pancake, where?"
Cup of coffee.
No, they did really good.
That's
I'm now
awesome.
the adults were in the backyard watching and everything,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying they didn't make
They
any
didn't give
moves.
us any problems at all.
Yeah.
They didn't make any moves toward that,
And for the most part, I can trust them that way.
well, and that was one of the things whenever we first started. What did I do? I put you in the cab
Yeah.
because you'd never been in it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, look and see what my visibility is.
None.
Now, it's your responsibility to keep your kids under control.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they actually listen fairly decent.
Yeah.
Maybe I am not doing that bad.
I like that revelation right here at the end.
Didn't even have to stake them down in the yard.
Well, the 3-year-old maybe.
He's something else. I love him. He's going to listen to this one day. I love you, buddy. Man, you're a handful right now.
Well, we were both, I guess they always say turnabout's fair play because I'm guessing both of us were a little bit of a handful.
He's my comeuppance,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, we were just a little bit of a handful. And I will say that, there was Kilroy was here written in the pantry at one point. I will go ahead and admit that was this person sitting right here that wrote that.
Thank you. I'll have your mother listen to this because to this day, she still defends you.
So I've heard this story. I heard it was in his handwriting.
It's Kilroy was here in his handwriting. And I said, Chris, why did you write on the pantry wall?
I didn't do it.
And he said, I didn't do it. And his mother, ever so helpful, says, well, you can't prove he did it. Did you see him?
You're looking around your house, looking at your locks, remembering how many keys you've passed out. Like the suspects list is pretty small right now.
It's in his handwriting. You've seen his handwriting.
The kid's
right?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
got marker on his hands.
Oh, no. I was like 13, 14.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it wasn't marker. It was like
Yeah.
ink pen.
Cursive?
No, my crappy handwriting. Yeah. Literally, there's only one person it could have been in the world.
I love that this has been 30 years probably, and your mom is still defending you in spite of mounting evidence to the contrary.
Mother's nurture.
Oh, she knew it all.
She knew it all
She
along.
knows, she knows it. She knows it to this day, but she was going to save that beating.
Mother's nurture, father's discipline.
So yeah,
Been a weapon all my life.
I will give you that. I will give you that satisfaction on this one. So
Thank you. I'll let your mom listen to it.
31 years later, and I'll let you have that one. So
That's awesome.
I think we as we wrap up our time here, there are three kind of fun questions that we always ask all of our guests when they come in. The first one is the Masonic ring. Is it points in or points out, and why?
For me,
Yeah.
you can wear both. The reasons that I learned for wearing it out was to demonstrate to others that you were a Mason.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I wear mine pointing in to remind myself of the virtues that I swore to.
I like that.
Yep. And I'll just say on my ring, it's both. Because the Masonic symbol's actually on the side, and so they point both ways. No, that's exactly right. I would wear it out because I want people to see that I am a Mason.
Mm-hmm.
And by golly, if they see that I'm a Mason, I better act like one.
What's yours? I forget.
You really forget?
I can't. Are you a points in guy?
I have done both, but I'm much more introspective and thus usually am points in. Like I kind of am a person that needs that reminder. Like, hey, this is, especially in hard moments, like when you especially doing what I do.
Yeah.
When you kind of want to maybe react a little bit more rapidly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kind of
That's why I don't wear mine while I'm working.
That's fair. That's fair.
I have a Masonic license plate. I have to drive this.
Oh, I would fail that test so often.
Yeah, same.
I cannot. That just some of
those drivers are just so bad.
Look, this is more social commentary than anything, but this town and its circles, like, these people weren't smart enough to handle a four-way stop, so you just gave them the option to not stop at all and drive continuously around a circle. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, anyways.
Sorry, but that all came from the Northeast.
Yeah, it did. I don't get it.
First time I was in one, I had been 91 or 2. I was in Massachusetts for schooling, and I got into a rotary and I freaked out.
Look, kids,
no
Big
clue.
Ben. Look, kids, Big Ben. Yeah.
It's just wild.
What the hell did I just drive through?
If you are not smart enough to handle a four-way stop, you're not going to handle a circle any better. That's just my anecdotal little snippet
probably
there.
true.
But the big part about Newark and the rotaries is when they started all this rotary nonsense. And it does work. It helps. It does help.
It helps
traffic.
It helps congestion.
Mm-hmm.
No, it helps traffic flow.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But up on Hudson Avenue, where Shields crosses at the GBBA hall, and on up at the next traffic, one of them was a flashing light for a while in the 80s and 90s. They actually took our tax dollars and put 3 parking lot bumpers on a triangle in the middle of the road and made a rotary at both of those intersections. I took my wife down and drove around them, and she said, "Oh my God, are you serious?" They lasted 3 weeks, and they pulled them out of there.
It's something else.
Oh, I'm not sure how we got to that point, but I love it anyway.
Yeah.
And my next question is, what is your favorite working tool and why? These 3 questions are kind of like rites of passage.
I am going to go old school early on, and I'm going to say the gavel, the common gavel.
Ooh.
You got a fan over here.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah, because that, to me, is the beginning of your transition.
Well,
what a Mason should be.
All you have to do is listen to the working tools of the gavel.
Mm-hmm.
It should be in constant use in my mind.
Yes.
Like, that's one that we're constantly working on.
Yep.
Never put it down.
Divesting the vices and superfluities of life.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you can do all the others.
I like it.
You know mine.
I do. Are you actually asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're 24-inch gauge.
I am the 24-inch gauge. So in the same lecture, or same working tool class, but a little different.
You need that time management and the balance.
I like the balance. All right. The last of our usual questions that we ask at the end is, what is your favorite lecture?
The Fellowcraft.
Yeah.
The Fellowcraft is the shortest. Not by much.
Yeah.
But it's the shortest.
I
and is packed with more information than both of the others together.
Yeah.
The second half of the Fellowcraft is one of the most beautiful lectures I've ever heard.
The letter G?
No, the entire...
Theirs is a little bit different, but I know exactly what part. It's the same parts you're talking about in there too, but I think, it's my favorite. I love it.
Yeah, we've got a unanimous decision then, gents. because that has been my favorite probably since my second year in, right? When I first when I'd started digesting things for real, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? It really hit.
I had a really good lecturer when I did mine. I had Worshipful brother Phil McClellan.
Yeah.
And that was just beautifully done. And it stuck with me. And then
Phil did a good job.
Oh, he always did such a great job, and it always stuck with me.
See, I had Worshipful brother John Matthews, and he does a great job.
Yeah. I remember it. I can remember it. It was fantastic. Well, I know we're wrapping up our time here this evening, and boy, I know, both Matt and I are super appreciative for you both to, you both being here, but also I think we're super appreciative for all of everything in life. I don't know. I'm trying to find the right words to say.
There were times when I feel like you probably felt like you were beating your head against a wall. But some of it got in.
Yeah.
And that patience and the example set are very much appreciated.
Yeah. And, I can say that, I think we both love you both. And thank you for being here with us this evening. Hopefully there are a lot of guys out there that are going to take something very cool away from this and just the experiences with this. So,
well, I think you'd be hard pressed to find two young men that turned out any better than the both of you.
Absolutely.
And I would put that up against anywhere.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it so much.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I can tell you that was an absolute blast to have both of our dads here at the podcast studio and get to interview them. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I'd be sitting in a room interviewing my dad on a podcast.
Yeah, when the tables got turned, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit nervous, but it ended up working out. It was a really good question.
There was a really good question. There are questions I'm glad did not get asked.
Oh, by the hundreds. Right?
Oh, boy.
By the hundreds.
That could have ended up very dangerous very quickly.
Yes.
Thank the good Lord above. So with that, this is going to once again do it for us here at Beyond the Door. We really hope you enjoyed this special Father's Day episode, and we look forward to connecting with you each month. Please help us grow our audience by subscribing to us on your podcatcher of choice, as well as sharing this podcast with your brothers, friends, and family. Did you enjoy this episode? Please leave us your feedback on your podcatcher of choice. Remember, we only want the good reviews. Actually, we only want a review.
A review would be nice, but also a little bit of feedback, positive or negative. Ideas even.
No, right? I want the positive feedback. I don't know if my ego could take the other.
Certainly the positive is welcome, right? But if the listeners want a new topic, for instance, I wouldn't mind hearing it and doing some research on it and trying to bring them, that education.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that either. So want to get in touch with us? Newark 97 is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also reach us via email at newark.97.lodge@gmail.com. Until next time, stay safe. And as always, search for light in masonry.